Well, this is going to be an exciting podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is like the reason I look good. Well, I'm going to look way better because I'm all thin and shit now. Jawline's getting better.
I told him I need all new suits.
I bet she's excied.
I was when he said that.
That's like a guaranteed $10,000 from Bob.
Yep.
Well, we'll get started with this, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the HWMF Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Feroce, here with my heterosexual life mate, Bob.
Good morning.
We have a guest on today.
We do.
Mr. David Allen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on here today.
Everybody hears us talk about Alvin and about Alvin's fly suits and him wearing pink suits and shit and light blue and just looking phenomenal.
Yep.
And me wearing my brown denim good-looking suits. David Allen is the owner of David Allen Clothing, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay, and his suits have become wildly popular throughout pretty much every sports industry. We'll give you a second to talk about it, but he's the reason that I look good. Alvin is your lead sales guy, I'm
Correct.
assuming.
Yeah, he's been with me since day one of starting the business.
I can't wait to dig in with this about Alvin, too. I'm sure there's a bunch of lovely stories. I think we just went over one of them. We won't repeat that one on podcast. We'll let Alvin lead that one day. But David Allen owns a crazy successful clothing company where they do custom suits and a number of other things. And WWE wrestlers, John Cena.
Correct.
A ton of big-time names, including myself in there. I'm going to stroke my own ego for a second. But I have a million questions about this because the clothing industry is not easy whatsoever.
Sure.
It's customized clothing the way you do it has to be super intense. So without further ado, please introduce yourself and go from there.
Yeah, so I'm David Allen, and I've been in the custom suit business for about 6 years now. Formerly was in medical sales where I sold cameras and lasers to eye surgeons. Dabbled for selling cancer treatment equipment for a couple years as well. And I always was in the medical world and kind of just got tired of working for somebody else. And I had to wear a suit every single day for my day job. And I realized the power of what a suit can do for you and how it could really change your opinion of the day and honestly even working hard. And I wanted to work harder and longer when I dressed better and looked better, in my opinion. And it just really showed me that the way that you look could change the way that you feel, which could obviously then change the way that you live your life. And I think a lot of our clients, that's the appreciation that we have with it is when somebody throws a custom suit on for the first time, the look in their eyes, just it's the most rewarding feeling you could possibly have. So
You just sold more suits.
Yeah.
For fucking sure.
I feel
with
that
me.
way.
I feel that way. You are successful. We didn't know you before this with Alvin.
Correct.
That is how I feel when I put that suit on.
Yeah.
Like in Seth terms, when I put that suit on, I'm definitely getting laid. Anna
Absolutely.
loves it. I feel good about myself. I'm a box. I've never been able to wear a suit. I used to not be able to wear jeans. So that is how I feel when I put the suit on. You're right. Like the first time I put a custom suit on, I looked and I was like, oh my God. This is awesome. I feel special.
Yeah.
Because I've always, I wore fucking jean shorts today, bro. This is my personality and I love who I am, but I also want to go out and look nice. And as a bodybuilder, I've never had, you see bodybuilders in suits, it's really bad.
It's not good at all.
It's really bad. Yeah. And whenever you're a heavier set guy, you have trouble fitting in a suit or getting it to feel good or just, you want that feeling. So what you just explained, actually, that's us.
Yeah.
Even Mike, our business partner,
Sure.
fucking 6'5", 220 pounds. Nothing fits that dude, right? You can't go to Men's Warehouse and get a suit like that. So, I didn't know you were in medical sales.
Yeah, I did that.
How old are you?
I'll be 35 in September.
Okay, so we're the same age.
Yeah.
So, how long were you in medical sales? How did you get into that?
So my first job out of school, I was fired 3 times in my adult life. My first job out of school, I worked for a company called Federated Investors, and I wanted to be a stockbroker and move to New York and do the Wall Street thing. And after realizing you had to pass a couple exams and get a license for that, it wasn't really what I was meant to do. So after about 3 months, I was fired from that job.
3 months, huh?
3 strong months there in Pittsburgh. And after you take the Series 7 exam, and once you fail twice, you're automatically fired. So going into that exam, I already packed up my desk, and I knew I wasn't coming back after that one. So
That hard.
I'm not a test taker, man. I can't. It doesn't register with me. So I did that, and then whenever I lost that job, my next job was selling cancer treatment equipment. So I sold little radioactive seeds that you would implant into tumors, and it's called brachytherapy for prostate cancer. And I played football at Duquesne University, and one of the guys that worked for that company was one of my teammates that had been there a couple years. So he brought me on, and I did that for about 13 months or so, and was fired from that job. My territory was the Northwest of the United States at 22 years old. So what I would do is I'd pick a city that I haven't been to and a state that I haven't been to, and I would try to go sell medical equipment in Idaho or Wyoming or North Dakota. And
that's a tough industry, brother.
Yeah, and we didn't have the support or anything. So I knew it was a stepping stone for me to get to the quote big boy job in medical. And usually when you get 3 to 5 years of sales experience, that's when you can really transition and make some good money. So I was let go from that job after, like I said, about 13 months. And then I went and sold contact lenses to eye doctors. So I did that regionally around Western PA. And I did that for about 2 years. And that allowed me to eclipse that 3-year mark in medical sales. And I knew that I was like, okay, this is the time frame to make the $250,000, $300,000 a year job.
Yeah.
And I went from making $85,000, $90,000 a year to $250,000 at 26 years old.
Oh fuck!
So it was a massive, massive jump for me. Because all I thought was money meant success, and that was my interpretation as a younger person. And
everybody's.
And all I did was chase the money. How can I go and do this? And how can I make more money each year? And then I just started realizing, who cares? Money doesn't make you who you are. Money doesn't change anything other than what you spend it on.
Sure.
And I wasn't happy working for someone else. It didn't matter how well you did every year. There was always a new year and a new quota. And if you didn't do well, you were disposable. And I just had a tough time with that because I worked hard every single year whenever I got to that position, and I did everything I could to be successful, but there were so many outside influences, healthcare reform, doctors weren't spending money anymore, insurance policies were changing, and it was just at that point where I had to start looking to figure out how do I do something differently.
That is an intense industry.
Yeah.
Sales like that, because you're right. I mean, in sales, and you still do it, you look at how you can be better in your company currently, what we did last year, what we did this time, what we did in June of 2019 or June of 2018, things like that. We look back. But whenever you're working for massive business like healthcare, that's got to be
Yeah, you were under the microscope every day and
constantly.
It was
and the level of stress.
Yeah, for sure. Because my income, I think it was 80% commission, 20% salary, and it was obviously a great commission, but every month you wake up, okay, I know I need to sell X per month just to be okay.
Yeah.
And then how much can you make on top of that? And at that age, you spend more money, you buy nice shit, you do different things.
Oh, you make $250,000 a year, you're going to do dumb shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah. And then, like you said, you'll just realize that,
Yep.
It's okay. I like money. It's nice to have it, but you got to have something attached to it.
Yeah.
A little more meaning.
Yeah, and that was the big growth thing, I think, for myself, was realizing that money is great and you need it and everybody has to have it to survive and be successful. But whenever you really, and it's cheesy, but whenever you do something that you love, the money eventually comes. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't matter. That's the interesting side of it too.
Sure. Yeah. Because that's part of life.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, if you don't feel it, it's going to be a rough go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough go.
Especially because, there's so many things in life that happen that, it makes it dark for you, and you question decisions that you make, and it gets suffocating at times.
And I think everybody does feel like that.
Yeah.
I think everybody at some point feels like that. I mean, Bob, what you just explained as well, because when you listen to people that own companies, they're a little bit older in life. You're 35, you're 34, going to be 35. I'm 35, going to be 36. Pat, who's in his 40s. Mike, same age as us. Bob, all of us worked for numerous jobs. We all jumped from job to job. It wasn't like we were like, oh, I did my career job here or there. Failure, you've been fired. I've been fired. I did dumb shit as a youngster. I haven't always been successful. I've always wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
I realized I wanted to. Same with Bob. We've all been in those positions, and I think that's where a lot of people out there, need to understand that you will fail. You'll fall flat on your face. People are going to bust your balls, and then they're going to laugh at your dreams after you fell, because I'm assuming that at some point during medical sales, when you were making that kind of money, like, bro, making $250,000 is fucking intense.
Yeah, it was the dream come true at that time.
Bro, you're making $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
You make $20,000 a fucking month. It's
Especially
hard.
at that age too. Is
I was joking on the last podcast about hookers and blow. you give me $20,000 a month at 25, I'm doing hookers and blow. But yeah, like at that point, so how long did you work at that before you started even like, when did the thought come in that you wanted to start? How did even Suits come about?
Yeah.
Like, because you had to be buying nice suits at some point, because if you're into fashion, if you have money, you're going to be like, okay, I got to go get nice suits.
So I started my first side business at 23 or 24, and I had 3 business partners, and it was a necktie company. And at that time, when I did the medical job where I was traveling all over the country, I would always take my golf clubs with me as well, because I had a lot of free time. And I would go to these nice country clubs, and I would notice that the pro shops never had neckties in the pro shop. Not anywhere I went. Maybe 1 or 2, and they were just shitty designs, nothing really cool. But majority of golfers had money. So I was like, okay, if I can convince the pro shop to buy neckties that had their logo on there, it's a talking point for people that go golfing. Well, in the professional world, hey, this could be a pretty good opportunity. The problem with that was I had 3 partners, and 2 of them were buddies of mine from college, and then 1 was my brother. And what happened was every Monday we'd have a meeting, and then the meeting would come around, and I'd get a text message in the afternoon, hey, can we push it to Tuesday? Can we push it to Wednesday? And they all had different lives going on, so whatever, it is what it is. We did that for about 4 years, and then at the tail end of that, I just kind of got fed up with how things were going. We made a couple bucks, nothing crazy, but I saw a necktie that if you tied it a certain way, then the knot was a different color. So I just said, okay, that's cool, but I would never purchase it myself. How can I take the neckties that I have and turn those into 100 different neckties? So I ended up buying a sewing machine, and I went to Joann Fabrics, took a bunch of classes with some of the older ladies there. And keep in mind, this is while I was in medical sales.
Yeah.
And I just started teaching myself how to sew. So I got a patent on interchangeable necktie knots called the proper knot. So what I want to eventually do with that product is, and our website's properknot.com, and you'll be able to see some of the stuff on there.
I looked at Shane to write it down to tell him.
It's pretty cool, man.
It up.
So what I want to do with that at some point now is I want to get colleges and professional sports teams to license it where they put their logo just on the center of the knot.
Fucking right,
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was my first solo bit as an entrepreneur. So I had a lady from back where I grew up. Literally, she would make them for me. She was just taking too long to make them, and it was great at the time. That's whenever I decided to go to Joann Fabrics, buy the sewing machine, and do it on my own, because I couldn't wait 3 or 4 weeks to ship something out. It just never would have been a successful business. So that's what got me into really my first solo bit in fashion. As I started building that product, it just, selling a $29 product versus selling something else. At that point, I didn't know what else was. I just said, hey, the next evolution of this, maybe I should look into custom suits. At that time, I was buying them in Chicago, New York, whenever I would travel.
Custom suits.
Correct, yeah. And I was never happy with the product, and I couldn't understand why. And they were all independent people that I purchased off of, and they just never fit well and never looked good. So I was just said, okay, I feel like I could probably figure out how to do this better than they can, so why don't I try? And
Where'd the confidence come from? Just being an arrogant fuck like everybody else. Yeah.
I just trust myself more than everybody else, man.
Absolutely. I'm just busting balls.
Always
for sure.
have. So I ended up connecting with a factory from China at that time. That was in 2015. And all I wanted to do was buy suits and sell them to friends, and then I would make a couple bucks and have free suits. And then I realized there started to get some networking and connections out of that, where I was making a couple $100 off of a suit. And I said, all right, let's see if we can do this a little bit better and a little bit more. So, that's when I started really diving into the custom suit world. And then back when the Tribune Review newspaper was still around, there was a writer for the Trib called his name was Justin LaBar. Justin had a 25 or 30,000 following on Twitter in the wrestling community. And he did all of his stuff at Point Park University in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So they had a little studio there and everything. And at that point, I just started sending him proper knots, and he would wear them every single Thursday on his radio show. He had connections with the WWE. So there were some things that I knew down the road, maybe it would lead to something. And that was early 2015. And then October of 2015, WWE actually had an event in Pittsburgh, and Justin randomly called me one day and said, "Hey, I know one of the wrestlers very well. He loves custom suits. Do you want to meet with him?" And this was his name was Titus O'Neil. So I schedule a time to go to the Marriott next to PPG Paints Arena, and I take my fabric books, and I was supposed to meet him at 9:00, and he didn't get there till I think it was like 12:30 in the morning. He's 6'8", 6'7", 270 pounds, and he was just driving 3 hours from Buffalo. And there's this little suit salesman sitting in the lobby of the Marriott waiting for him. And he ended up buying 10 suits off me the first night. And from that point on, I just said, okay, if I keep doing this way and treating people right, I think I can take this and run with it and go.
This was 5 years ago.
Correct.
How far? Because when Alvin shows up here, man, he's got a fucking spread.
Yeah.
Did you have that type of spread?
No.
Or because I'm trying to because you were at this point were you still in medical sales?
I was, yeah.
So you were still in medical sales, and this was still your side hustle in
Correct.
2015.
Correct.
And you're like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker, because this is like the pipe dream moments.
Yep.
You're still in like pipe dream moments. You're like, this guy does stuff with the WWE. This is childhood Seth thinking, like that. Those things that all guys think, like, man, that would be wild to happen. So you're still hustling on your side gig. This is a huge WWE guy. If I get this, I'm gonna get in.
Yeah, that was Titus was my first real connection of building friendship with a professional athlete, entertainer, whatever. And I knew that at some point it would lead to something. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was prop or not. I didn't know if it was custom suits. I just knew that relationship was extremely valuable. But I also knew that because of who he is as a person versus his status, right? And that's the difference maker, was the fact that the friendship that he allowed me to build with him, from being a total stranger to 3 months later spending weeks at his house at a time, and having him drive me around to different people's houses that tell them to buy off of me, right? So he was such a big supporter and championed my business immensely when I first started. And you realize when you meet certain people along the way, there are certain people that are very, very powerful parts of your journey. And I think that's what I loved about your podcast, and the message that you guys stand for is just being good every single day and working your ass off every single day. And there are so many people that do that, and you just don't know who they are, because a lot of people don't talk about those things.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like it's the people you least expect too, and at the most rare times. Because I was thinking about it with meeting Kenny. I mean, Kenny does payroll with ADP and helped us set up our company with payroll. I mean, we had him on the podcast one time. I met him one time before that. And I didn't know what we would ever do together, but he has me on this journey with running and training for an Ironman, and a whole new perception on life and my relationships. And
who would have thought it'd been Kenny from ADP?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter who it is. It's wild when it happens.
And I think the coolest thing that I've realized about this is there are people that you just meet instantly, and you just know deep down to the core, off of the shit you've been through to build your business, or just things you've been through in life, that they understand you and understand what you've been through without them asking the question, how did you get there? And that's the cool thing, is there's certain people that you just click with, I think.
So I'm assuming that 6'8", 275-pound Titus O'Neil is a sweetheart of a gentleman.
one of the most amazing human beings on the honest to goodness. He does so much for the country. He's just such a great human being.
So I have a lot of questions. I'm sure a ton of people do, because everybody knows WWE is fake. It's fake wrestling, all this stuff. But I heard it is a wild, wild industry. However, I heard that a lot of people in it currently, like the people in it currently, are super great people.
Yeah.
Like do a lot of good. Like John Cena, what's it say? Like he's the most
largest amount of Make-A-Wish grants. Yep.
It's out of hand, dude. That means that's a lot of his personal time goes to that, because wrestling is such a demanding industry.
Yeah.
Travel, put on events and just be a character and put all that on. But it's a huge industry, and it does it's molded childhoods.
Yep.
I mean, that's me, The Rock, Stone Cold. Stone Cold's my all-time favorite, but it's like you see that and it's wild on what it's done. So, 2015, you're hustling. He introduces you to other people in wrestling.
Yeah. So him and I worked together the first night.
When did you, before you go,
Yep.
where I want you to go, when did you stop selling medical equipment?
April 1st, 2016.
Nice.
April Fool's Day.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
So that's whenever you were like, so from that point in 2015 when you met him to that point there, that's when you were like, I'm fucking going all in.
Yeah, I was fired on April 1st, so that was my
Man, what an
I should have recorded that saying when I thought you left. You were like, fucking, nope, you're gone. You're shit.
But I did ship everything back to my boss in a David Allen box, which was the coolest.
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking right.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like he was just such a dick, and
Did you draw a dick on it?
I should have.
I would have. We would have.
That was like the silent, like, fuck you, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But so to backtrack just a little bit,
Yeah.
how I got fired. Titus, first of all, he bought 10 suits off me the first night that I met him, and I messed up every single one of them. So let's not forget that part of the story. So I remember, 30 days after the suits came in, I got a call from him, and I was in a doctor's meeting, and I stepped out of the meeting with the doctor because it was him, and I just pretended like it was someone in my family that I had to take a phone call because I didn't have a really good rapport with him at that point. We were still building everything. And he just said, hey, none of this stuff fits. He was cool about it. We FaceTimed. He went to his tailor locally in Tampa Bay. And it was very cool that he wasn't pissed off. He wasn't agitated about anything. And he understood the process far more than I did at that point. Then about a month later, ESPN interviewed him about his fashion and his style. And he dropped my name and then his other tailor's name in Florida. That's what led my boss to find out about everything, and he started looking into,
Oh, no shit.
what is David doing during the day? Is he supposed to be, doing this versus that?
Yeah. Which is understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I knew it was going to happen at some point, and I just was kind of putting a Band-Aid on time until I did get fired. And, I had a conference call it was a 9 a.m. on a Friday morning, the same weekend of the NFL Combine of 2016. Well, I was like, I don't really want to know what the conversation is going to be about, so I'm just going to skip the conference call, and I'm going to take my work car and drive out to Indianapolis and try to go sell suits at the NFL Combine. And about, I don't know, an hour and a half into my drive, my phone stopped working, so I just kind of had a feeling that was going to lead to something else.
Yeah.
And then when I came home on that Monday morning, Monday or Tuesday morning, it was Monday morning, I had a FedEx envelope with
You're gone.
You're gone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was
Bye-bye.
It was a tough conversation. The interesting thing is on the drive out as well, my boss had emailed the president of the company at that point, copied me on that, and had an attachment of my call log. And it said, hey, so-and-so, if you look below on the attachment, David said in this email he was in Pittsburgh on this day selling medical equipment. By the looks of the cell phone tower, that it had the coordinates of the cell phone tower that the signal hit off of. It shows that he was in New York City this day, Connecticut this day, and I was just like, all right,
Time. Yep. Is what it is. That's fine.
yeah,
But so, I mean, whenever you are, it's one of those things that what you want to do with your life. You're just figuring it out. Yeah. You're going through the process of, and I went through it as well. Did the same shit where I just was like, I don't know what the fuck. Everything that I do, I'm pretty good at, but I want to do something that I want to do personally. I want it to be for me. And it's just something that you got to work through. You got to figure it out, and there's no book on how to navigate that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a ton of, we tell our stories on here, we go through how we got to this point, but there's no book that says it's going to go fucking perfect. You're never going to piss anybody off. You're never going to say the wrong thing. And, there's no book of exactly. There's a great, what is it? Everybody, Tony Robbins, phenomenal. But there's, and these people that write books like it, they're great for inspiring, and you probably read a ton of them that lead you to this point. But everybody needs to realize, like, there's no book on exactly how it's going to go.
Right. You're
going to piss people off, and you're going to hurt people's feelings, and you're going to burn bridges, because at the end of the day, you're building something that you believe in and have passion for.
Yeah.
So after that, that's whenever I'm assuming you said, fuck.
Yeah.
I have to invest more time, more money, more everything into this.
So that was the point that I no longer was going to go look for another job, and I made that decision to say, I'm going all in. And so what I mean by that is about a year before that, I ended up paying off my student loans. It was about $110,000, just wrote a check, paid that off. And then I built a $500,000 house and put a hefty down payment on that house. And then I was fired all within a very short time frame. So I didn't have much money saved up. I was pretty much broke at that point. So the timing wasn't the most ideal. But I think I had about $160,000 in my 401k saved up. And I said, that's going to last me if I had to, God forbid, I'll drain that, and that should last me a couple years. I'll be good to go. So I decided, I called my financial advisor, and I just said, hey, where are we at everything? What's this going to look like? And, what can I get out of here? And I knew the penalties that I would get whenever I would withdraw. So I ended up just saying, all right, let's do it. And every couple months I started pulling money out. Well, that money lasted, I think, like 7 months. And it was supposed to last me a couple years. So that was a tough pill to swallow, quickly watching the bank account diminish. Yeah, I got the tattoo on my arm, which is negative $86.40. So that was the lowest point when I lost everything. I was going to Giant Eagle to buy groceries, and I was checking out, and my debit card was declined. And I remember just checking my bank account, and I was like, holy fuck, I have nothing left. So it was a ride, man. But that's the one thing that you mentioned before about the jungle story. And that's my favorite segment on any podcast I've ever heard, is just talking about what it's like going through the jungle, because there are some times where it's the darkest of dark feeling, especially when money is on the line and when your life is on the line financially, and you don't have an out.
So, and that analogy, I can't remember. I heard it on a podcast when I was cutting grass, and I don't remember. It was a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I never stopped thinking about it, and I just correlated it back to everything that I've been through. I'm like, fuck yeah, because there's a lot of people out there that are Tarzan.
Yeah.
They go, you know that, you put it this way, everything that you just said, you always knew what you wanted to do. You never went into the jungle. You kind of thought you did because you thought money was everything, making $250,000 a year. But you're always on this safe side. Whenever you cross over the safe zone and go into the jungle, that's pretty much your life.
Yeah.
And in there is just a ton of fucked up shit. It's a wild spot. And in there are other Tarzans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, one person that I have a tremendous amount of respect for is Andy Frisilla and Sal Frisilla. Those two guys, bro, Andy's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
Bro, that dude, what he has built, the amount of money that he spends on his cars and how everybody harp on him, that motherfucker's got some tiger pelts, lions, tigers. He got fucking, you name it, that dude wears it.
He was the first podcast that I listened to get my mind focused.
And in there, and who he is and how he runs everything, bro's a fucking savage. Yeah. And his brother Sal is a different type of savage. Like, just how they run the business and who they are, and talking to Sal up in New York at the Natural Body event, the block party.
Yeah.
Bro, the dude, I'm like, man, you're a Tarzan. And that's why whenever I go, and I'm living in my own version of the jungle now, and like you just learn how to live in such an intense environment, and you learn how to navigate through because everybody has an end goal. Everybody's end goal is different, but you just gotta. I mean, there's going to be a lot of fucked up shit in there.
Yeah, there are things that have happened along the way. You know, you talked about burning bridges, and you always, even taking the high road, you still burn bridges.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And that was the most challenging thing for me is I believe that everything I've done since the beginning, and I still believe this, is morally and ethically correct and in the best interest of the success of the brand long term. And that doesn't matter. You still end up burning bridges, and people still end up hating you. And you know, it's sad because you know your intentions are so good, and and people don't realize how hard it is or what you're going through on your end. But I think it's inevitable that you're going to. But it's also good because not all relationships are meant to last forever, and some relationships are meant to last a certain period of time for whatever that reason may be.
It's a good way to look at it. It's very true.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I never actually said those words. I mean, and you think about it, but you're right. Like sometimes it is supposed to be a 2-year relationship, and then take it for what it is, and not say, "Oh, I never know why we lost touch." No, it's good.
Yeah,
it's okay, and I think that's a very, I guess, mature way to look at things.
You just, you know, you have to. I just personally spin everything to find out. You could look at any situation through perspective, and perspective changes every outcome or every decision that you make on life as well. So every situation that I encounter as I'm building the business, there's 2 ways you can look at it. You could find the good way, or you can look at it as the shitty way of whatever it potentially is. I think you have to learn from the whatever shit comes from there, but I don't think you dwell on that. And I think that's why it's so powerful to always find the silver lining in something. Because at the end of the day, especially in the world that we live in today, it's so fucked up, but there's always so much more good out there than there is bad.
That's finding the good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That silver lining is the good. Like, what's
For
the
sure.
good? What's the good that's going to come out from having negative $86.40 in your account? Yep. I don't fucking know, but if I don't find the good, I'm fucked.
Yep.
I'm going to want to shoot myself in the head.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't think like that. And you got to have those people like Andy, like this podcast. This podcast is all based on the Monday morning of being on a job site, driving to a fucking sales meeting or something like that. We want people to be entertained. Listen to some shit that's fun, entertaining, intense, our way of it. Like, you need to have these different characters in your life so that you can be set into different moods as well. Like, you know, whenever I want to hear some shit, bro, I listen to Andy. Whenever I want to see some funny shit and good feeling people, like that whole heartfelt dad moments that I need, bro, Sal, Alvin, it doesn't matter if they're famous or not famous. Those people put themselves out there for a reason. Go watch it. Go get a feeling from it. You know what I mean? That's why the good. And that's why I gravitate to saying, you know, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know where I am. So that's who I'm going to be. And I'm going to exemplify it so people can feel that as well.
Yeah.
So moving on, $86 negative in your account was in what year?
So that was in 2017.
So 2017, after you got done making $250,000, big dick in town, all these wonderful things, fucking broke.
Yeah.
Make money, lose money, make money again.
And
what did you, at that point, you were in with some WWE wrestlers, and you're just growing the business because it takes money to make money.
Right.
And you got to spend money to make money. And that's a thing in business that's scary as shit.
Yep.
Still scares the fuck out of me. Every month, whenever I look at where we're at and what we're doing, I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like adding zeros to the end of this shit. It's still the same numbers, just adding more zeros, scaring the fuck out of me. What did you do from there to grow the business to what it is today?
Yeah, so we a big part was in the very beginning. I took accounting 5 times in college. I'm not good at accounting. Barely graduated from college, so I never paid attention to the books. I never looked at any of that stuff. So our company was growing at 30 to 40% every single year, but I was reinvesting money back into learning how to make a suit. Okay, for Titus, for instance, 10 suits, I couldn't sell them 10 more. I'd actually repurchase those because they were so far off. I ended up that first time, I think I ended up buying 60 suits for the 10, instead of saying, hey, why don't you make one? make that suit fit, and then once you get that suit dialed in, let's now order the other 9. I didn't have a mentor telling me those things, so I just figured, hey, I'm going to measure. They're going to come back the right way. So the amount of mistakes on that, paired in with travel, trying to just get in front of as many people as I possibly could, the money was just hemorrhaging. And then on top of that, my monthly bills were $7,000 a month. So I had an expensive lifestyle, and I was fine when I was making great money, but whenever the money was done, so was the lifestyle.
Sure.
So I ended up selling a rental property that I had, liquidating my assets, downsized everything that I possibly could. And fortunately, I connected with an accountant that has saved my business. We met back in 2017, the spring of 2017, and he had basically steered the ship the right way. I was doing the right things, but I was making minor mistakes along the way that I just didn't know because I wasn't paying attention to the numbers. And my dad kept saying to me, hey, make sure you know your numbers, make sure you know your numbers. And I said, okay, Dad, if I don't have a business, my numbers don't matter. And instead of saying, okay, you're right, hey, I should know the numbers as well as grow this brand and do everything. So, it was just me being young, naive, also just knowing that if I just kept busting my ass, I just believed it would work out in some capacity.
Sure.
No idea how it would, but I just figured that it would. And so once 2017 got there, we, I ended up, this is April of 2017, WrestleMania was in New Orleans. And I had a bunch of clients that owed a decent amount of money. When I was going to WrestleMania, my bank account was in the negatives. Every single credit card that I had was maxed out. And my cousin actually came over to my house that day right before I was leaving, and he owed me like $300 or something like that, or maybe it was like $100 or something. And he opened the door, and I was getting ready to go to the airport, and he could just see this look on my face, like what something's up. And he ended up giving me a couple $100 and just said, hey, whatever else you need, let me know. So I was able to get to New Orleans. I already had the hotel taken care of and everything, so I was good there. I overnighted, I think, 32 suits to the WWE roster for the Hall of Fame event that very next day in the evening, and most of them never purchased off me before either. So I was going down there with like the intentions of, if this doesn't fit, I'm fucked. So it put us in a bad spot. And somehow, some way, that entire weekend worked out. It was hell when I got down there. I was running around, doing different errands and everything, but that was an eye-opening experience because it was just like my back was against the wall so bad, and people were chirping and saying, he doesn't care about anybody but his celebrity clients. And I was getting, messages on Instagram that were negative. And at that point, we had a guy from China who stole $25,000 off me as well. So that was about a month before that. So not only do the people not realize that somebody just stole $25,000 off me, not only did they not realize that it was the Chinese New Year a month and a half before there, where the entire country shut down for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and nothing can come out of there. So they thought I was just hoarding their money, and it was ugly. I ended up taking a life insurance policy out, and that I never would have done anything to hurt myself, but I didn't want to leave anything in ruins for my family should something happen to me. And that is one of the most powerful things. You realize that I would leave the house and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go to the stop sign, and I'll stop, but like I'm not gonna look around 2 or 3 times. I'm just gonna go. And I was fighting this mental demon, realizing I let my family down. I lost every dollar that I had. I literally could have lived the perfect life if I would have just kept doing this and being fine financially. Probably could have retired early if I wanted to, and did what everybody in society tells you to do. And I met with my one of my buddies who sells life insurance, and I took whatever not the full term or whatever it was, but enough to cover myself should something happen. And it was a dark time, man. That was probably the most developed time in my life. Alvin and I were fighting because it was just nothing intentional. It's just, hey man, you got to sell more. You got to sell more, and oh, you got to do this more. And we were butting heads a lot. And we had another girl, Tiffany, who worked with me at the time, who was incredible. And the three of us were just, it was very, very empty of a feeling going through that. And I had too much pride to ask anybody for help. And at that time, I already exhausted all my quote help resources for that, and it was dark. It was very, very dark. And we ended up just kind of saying, okay, let's fix this. How do we fix this? And let's just start collecting money that's owed to us. And somehow we were probably 10 days, 2 weeks away from fully going bankrupt, losing everything.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
This is in 2017.
2017. Yeah, not long ago. Yeah. I mean, every time I would come home, collection notice, shut off notice on the front door.
Bro, what's that? So everything that you just said, the number of things that you just said, I laughed.
Yeah.
And there was still more coming.
I still have more. Yeah.
I laughed, and I'm like, oh my God, this is breaking. This will break a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like if I see a collection notice, whew, God, take the wind right out of your sails. You see 2 of them, oh man, I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
You see 3 of them, you're like, I'm fucking worthless. What that does to a person's psyche is incredible. Let alone all the shit that you just said. Those are jungle moments.
Yeah.
Those are things that like that just continue, like just, oh look, I'm getting bit by all these people saying all this fucking nasty shit. All the gnats, all the mosquitoes. You're just getting bit. And then like you have a fucking tiger stalking you, wants to kill you. All of a sudden, like these fucking gnats, you're like, fuck these gnats, dude, fuck these mosquitoes, they don't even matter. And then you get bit in the ankle, and then you're just crawling through the shit, like, bro, that's intense.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't imagine where your head was, like how to even wake up the next morning and say, I have to keep doing this, or it's not going to work.
That was the most. So I use the analogy is imagine you're laying underwater, right? And as a grown man at 32 at the time, and you're about an inch below the water, and there's a child holding you down, and you know that you should be able to throw that child off of you to be able to get up because the strength is not even comparable. But this child had super strength that's just holding you under, and nothing would work to get out from being suffocated by that water. And it's weird because I couldn't figure anything out. When one thing goes bad, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, and it seems like your entire world is just coming down on you. And at that time, I was in a relationship with a girl, which was super toxic. Put a strain on my personal life, put a strain on my family. Every time I'd see my dad, hey, did you get a new job yet? Did you get your resume ready? Everything that you could possibly not want to hear or not deal with is what kept coming to the surface.
And everybody looks at you as saying, David Allen,
Yep.
Look at these suits. He's making millions of dollars. He's got to be doing good.
And at that time, we were working with some big names.
Big names, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was, even thinking back, that was the worst time in my life by far. But it was at the same time was the absolute best thing that ever could have happened to me.
Isn't that fucked up to say?
Yeah.
Well, we talk about a lot of that, taking that opportunity when it comes to you and running with it, no matter how uncomfortable you are. That's that day when you went to WrestleMania down south. One, it's your company that you're there representing. You're not just being sent there by the company. I literally felt like I lived that moment because I've had times in my life where I went to do these very, very uncomfortable things, and as a human being, you just don't know how to handle them. And to be able to step up when it's all you, it's all on your back, the future of your company's depending on it. It's
that's what I was getting to earlier about, like, you don't know how to handle it. There's no book on it.
Literally the first time it ever has crossed your plate, you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with it to the absolute best of your capability.
There's no way of knowing how to handle it.
Yes.
You have no idea what to do when you're faced with it. And that's what books are good for, and what these podcasts are great for, to listen to inspiring people and read them so you can conceptualize what might occur. Mm-hmm. You can think about what might happen. Like, bro, I put myself in every situation. Before we go into a meeting, I'm like, this meeting is going to go one of 3 ways. And you play these things out, like the shampoo bottles. Like whenever you're in the shower, like 20-minute shower, thinking about, well, if this fucking happens, I'm going to tell this cocksucker. This is how this is going to go. And I conceptualize these 3 different ways of what's going to happen. But then whenever you're faced with it, you're like, those 3 things just went out the fucking window. This is not how I thought it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's that, like, where it's good to have listen to people's podcasts, read people's books, but understand there is. And whenever you're faced with it, you're like, oh fuck, it was not what I thought it was. Yeah. It's intense.
Well,
I couldn't imagine. No,
I thought of all the moments we had with All American Roughneck. I mean, because this is all occurring like in the same time period.
I know. How about that too?
Which is fucking wild. And
2017 was a fucking shit year.
You know, like the comments we would get from friends and even family, and then like, hey, this is going to happen. You know that, right? And then it did. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. I'm like, fuck, I should be listening to my family. They told me this was not a good idea. Oh, we fucked this up. We lost $5,000 on this fucking release because I put a bad discount code up. Fuck, dude, how are we going to get back from that one? That was the $5,000 we were going to use to get even more apparel next time. Because we were just buying in.
Yeah. And it was just that living and learning where it went from, oh, fuck, we lost $5,000. All of a sudden we looked and was like, hey, dude, this is kind of a big hit in the dick.
Yeah.
Right. When we were even bigger.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's intense. I was just talking to my dad last night. I called him late last night, Father's Day. And he's like, I was upstairs at the warehouse the other day because that's where we started. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's pretty crazy what you guys did. Meanwhile, my dad was somebody that was kind of like, you just quit your job? You quit your fucking job?
Yeah.
Seth, you were making good money? He's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, this is going to work, Dad. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, this is dumb. And I'm like, no, it's not. And those are, because he was blown away. He's like, because we have fucking ton of different buildings, employees, and we're doing great things, and it's incredible. It's similar to this 2017.
Well, that's the experience with your dad yesterday. That makes it all well worth it. And it's not a standpoint of, hey, look at me, I did what you said I couldn't do. It's a standpoint of, I know that you're proud of me.
Oh.
Even though
I would never go back.
Yep.
I would never go back. I'm not that guy to say fuck you like to your face. I mean, I might do it indirectly in some way, but never to, because those people were just looking out for
Correct.
me. Your dad's just like, dude, fill your resume out and live a good life.
Correct.
I don't want to see you go through these struggles. I don't want to see you cry. I don't want to see you fucking be down on yourself. But in hindsight, if I never would have felt like those things and you never wouldn't been fucking beaten, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this cool shit.
Yeah.
That's what I hope for everybody, because everybody out there listening, they go through some shit too. Everybody goes through a little bit of shit. Just depends on how far you want to be in.
Yeah.
So when was the breakthrough? When was the whole, like, because right now you're doing some pretty big shit and you're doing very well. When was the breakthrough?
So I would say our breakthrough probably wasn't until 2019. So our true breakthrough.
Yeah.
I started getting a little bit more comfortable throughout 2018. We did a couple projects with KFC where I did Colonel Sanders suits. I changed Ric Flair into Colonel Sanders, and then Shawn Michaels as well. So there were some really big moments, and throughout the whole time frame. Uh-huh. But financially, I would say 2019 in the early part. So it hasn't been that long.
No.
And it's allowed me to now do other things, and I started a marketing firm, so I have a marketing business as well. Getting my hands in a couple different companies just to diversify out of the suit game. But everything that I want my hands in are all things that are kind of related to the relationships that have cultivated from the custom clothing.
Which we're learning as we grow in business as well. We do supplements and we have the apparel business, but we have another supplement company we have two supplement companies. Why? One's all natural, one's no artificial flavors. All of a sudden, like we always say, we're a marketing company.
Right.
Where we branch off and we have our fingers in many other things, and it's kind of just relationship-based, opportunity-based. Yeah. So whenever I needed a suit, it was Men's Warehouse, Joseph A. Bank. What made you think that – because your suits, what Alvin brings in here and lines up, bro, I feel really fucking special when he shows up. I feel incredible, and he is phenomenal at what he does.
Yeah, he's great. He's incredible.
I don't know. What did he do before this?
He did some stuff in logistics, and he worked at GNC prior to that as well.
So he's one hell of a fucking salesman. And it's hard to sell a fat white guy, let me tell you. Because Alvin shows up, tall, dark, handsome, fucking tall drink of water he is.
Yeah.
Comes in fucking wearing like Louis V belt, and I'm like, God damn, Alvin. he's like, and then he wears some fucking sick top, or he just always, and he's like, you got to see this. I wore this last week. I'm like, Alvin, pump the fucking brakes, brother. You're selling to me.
Where's the earth tones?
Yeah, where's the browns, the greens, the blacks? Get the fuck out of here with pinks and bright blues. He's like, you're gonna look great, and just how he comes in and tells me what I'm gonna look good in, and the spread, bro. There's a spread of items now, and the way he sells it, and the way the suits fit, the whole thing is phenomenal.
Awesome, thank you very much.
I feel it. All of us. I mean, you sell. I think Bob has. I think I have 4 suits at home. One's absolute shit. It's all black because of my brother with his wedding. He wouldn't do anything fucking crazy. I definitely went over the top, but I just bust his balls about it. But I have an all black suit, which everybody needs, and then the other items are things that I never, to be honest, I never would have thought I would ever be wearing. Yeah. The one suit we wore to Vegas. It's gray with, I don't even know how to explain it. You have to just see a picture, everybody. Maybe you could put it up in the video. I think there was a picture of me and Hannah in Vegas. I think that's when we got pregnant. Yeah. It's all your fault.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. That baby is your fault. We were fucking, it was awesome. Jesus. Okay, back to it. But the way the suits fit for a bodybuilder is phenomenal. So anybody out there that is athletic has always had trouble.
Sure.
Was that your thought of whenever you started this, that you're going to get people that normally can't buy suits or fit in the suits? How did that work? How did it go? Like you went after, was it just because of Titus O'Neil and you knew that the custom suit industry was was like a rough industry? Is that why? Or how did you because when I think of custom suit, I mean, everybody it just fits well, but especially for people like me.
Yeah. So, no, I actually didn't. My goal was, because I have an average build.
Yeah.
But I realize everybody's body is so different. Even if you're all 5'10", 180, everybody's body, shoulders, chest, your posture is way different than everybody else. The benefit of the WWE was, I actually didn't want to work with them in the beginning. And nothing against WWE. I hadn't watched it since I was a kid at that point, and now I follow just because of my relationship with everybody and understanding how talented everybody really is and what they do. My allure to that was more the publicity on growing a brand and networking with celebrities who were just great people. And the WWE athletes are some of the best human beings in the world that I've met. I've met with a lot of athletes, and they are very, very loyal and very, very supportive. And so for me, that was really what it came down to was, hey, I just want to utilize the networking with them to get credibility with our brand on a faster scale, so that way we didn't have to just start in Western PA and grow the business out. We could start nationally and grow the business from there. And so I would just travel with them on a routine basis, knowing that not only were they going to purchase off me, but then whenever you go to the Los Angeleses, the New York Cities of the world, the bigger cities, other celebrities or athletes would go. So then I would network with them backstage as well, and it would expand out from WWE to a different genre. So it was all strategic in that world, but I think timing played a great role in this as well, because I think men's fashion now is I think it's still at the up. I think it's just starting to really get appreciated by a lot of people. There's a lot more cost affordable solutions. There's different things.
That was going to be my next question. Like custom suit from you's, I think, what is it? What do we pay? $900?
Yes, we start at $799 for our entry level, and then kind of go up from there.
So I think $900 is what I paid for the suit, and I look here, and then you go to Men's Warehouse, and you're not paying too much of a difference.
No,
$600 to $800, and they don't fucking fit, and they don't look, and you don't have options to choose from. That's what blew me away whenever Alvin came in for my brother, and we were doing the suits, because that was the first time I bought the suit.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
shit at the time, and came in. And we were going through everything, and I'm like, fuck, dude, it's going to be like $1,500 for a fucking custom suit. I'm like, it's cool. I was like, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to pay for Jake's, too. It's his wedding, all that happy shit. And then Alvin told me, and I'm like, bro, that ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what you go to JCPenney's or go to Men's Warehouse and pay, and they aren't fucking fitting me. They aren't doing the full 9 for it to fit exactly the way I would look like a fucking box.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was completely floored by that they are cost effective. Now you still can buy a $3,500 suit.
Yeah,
from
for
you.
sure.
Yeah,
And we would love that. So
oh,
don't shy away from that.
Oh no! Now that I do very well for my Bob loves that. But what the last one I bought was the material was different because it was stretchier.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, and Alvin's like, it's a little more expensive. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I want, because pants have always been a pain in the ass for me. And now I'm like, dude, this is it. It's high end material. It looks fucking high end, and now it forms with me. It's great.
Yeah.
Those are the types of things that I couldn't imagine on the back end, because let alone just we do T-shirts. Everything that we do, I hated buying clothes online. Who the fuck wants to buy clothes online that you don't try on? I never wanted to. I was always bodybuilder. I can't buy a 2X because I'm between a 1X, a 2X. I might even need a 3X, being 245 pounds. And whenever Bob and I were choosing shirts, I was like, this has to be true fit to size. So we can tell extra large guys, buy an extra large.
Right.
Every single item that we do is based upon that. Doing custom work. Bro, Alvin, I'm like, Alvin, is this really going to fucking fit? You're telling me this is going to fucking fit the first time. He's like, you'll need minor adjustments. He's like, yeah, you'll need minor adjustments. He's like, but that's a tailor. We pay for the first tailoring. He's like, and you just go get tailored and we'll be good. I'm like, where do I get tailored? He's like, my tailor. And I'm like, so you're going to take me to a guy to get it tailored after I bought the custom suit and everything's going to fit perfectly? Yes. I'm like, you're full of shit. You're lying to me. Sure enough, dude, came in. He's like, yeah, we're just going to make these minor adjustments and we're good. Sure enough, that's what happened. Now, the next suit, I didn't even have to get it fucking tailored.
Yeah.
It just fit, and I order it. Now I have to do, because I'm different sizes, and Bob's like a whole different person. But, like, it was such a smooth, bumpless process. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
And the other thing, I'll stroke you another one. The fucking custom shirts.
You
get a custom button-down shirt for like $100.
Yeah.
You can get all the shit because when you go to the grocery store, when you go to Men's Warehouse or anywhere else to get like a nice button-down shirt, because if I want to go to Vegas, if I want to go out to eat, wherever I'm going, or I go out somewhere nice, I just need a button-down shirt. Bro, 2XLs on a fucking 5'6" guy don't work.
Right.
You can't go get the ones with the cool cuffs where they flip up and they're different colors and everybody wears out, and all the guys, and they look cool and they're purple with like some kind of cool design, or blue and all that shit. I was never able to buy them because I look like a fucking douchebag.
Or you got to buy like the certain neck size, and then the bottom parachutes out, and you got it sticking out on all sides.
It looked good and it looked like shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
the
then
one
Alvin's like, yeah, custom shirts. I'm like, custom fucking shirts too. And he's like, yeah. And Mike, same thing. Mike's 6'5", a little bit over 6'5". Fuck, dude. He wears a 2XL and I wear a 2XL. That makes no fucking sense.
Sure.
So that's why I was like, man, and I feel really special. And that was the goal. What this all started with was making people feel special.
Absolutely.
And it's I couldn't, if I had to wear a suit every day, if I wore a suit every day, yeah, I'd have a ton.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
It's the coolest feeling.
It really truly is, because even whenever I was like, I can't wear a suit to this event, like I look like a douchebag. I want to look nice though, like a custom shirt.
That was always my misconception. I was like, I'm
or a
always
jacket,
going to look like a box.
like a sport jacket. Yeah, I just needed one item, and then that's why we have an Alvin.
So the big difference with our company, and not a lot of people know this. So there's custom suits, there's made to measure suits. So there's a bunch of different varieties. A lot of people call everything custom. With our company, every single client that comes on board gets their own, quote, blueprint or pattern of the suit. So instead of a lot of our competitors, they may measure you and say, okay, Seth is this size and these are his dimensions. Well, we only have 6 patterns to choose from. Let's use this pattern to fit his body. And then they make alterations as they're making the suit to fit your size. So what we do is, imagine going into a Ryan Holmes development or something, and every single house is different. From the outside to the inside to every single component is different. So we make a different pattern on every single client that we have, which is why we're able to fit them a little bit better than a lot of other people. Yeah, it's a pretty cool process.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
makes sense.
So we just, I didn't want to get in here and I didn't want to do something in clothing and half-ass it. And I didn't want to, I wanted to find an affordable priced suit that was more expensive than a Macy's and less expensive than a Nordstrom to start. And that's why we actually started at, I think it was $700 initially. And then at that point, we kind of bumped it up and found better product. And, now we range from, $800 up to $10,000 if you want to spend that much on a suit. So
because Alvin didn't break out the big boy until last time. And now he roped us in.
the problem is it's tough to go back, though, after you get the nicer material.
Bro,
so
the stretch material is,
it's
is
crazy.
awesome.
I am a fucking jeans guy.
Yeah.
I just wear jeans all the time. I like them now that I wear the stretchy jeans and all that shit. But I like having a nice sport jacket, like an earth tone sport jacket in the fucking around Christmas time, around the holidays, whenever we have anything like it. It's just nice to feel good. And having that ability to even get something higher end like that, and I just get the jacket or just get the shirt. For me, I'm sold on every angle. I wear a suit probably once a year. It's at Vegas. And I'd probably buy one just to go to Vegas specifically. When we go to Vegas every year, it's like, I get to put the suit on. Because when the fuck else am I wearing a suit?
I've bought five one-event suits. Like if there's any pictures of me in them, I can't wear it again because it's like such a unique pattern, such a unique combination.
Fucking Bob. That's true though. But it's one of those things that it's a whole feeling thing. What I've realized, I never thought I'd be saying that I enjoy wearing a suit because I just never did. But now having to be able to do custom stuff, like even going to Eddie V's, like just a special night out that for no reason, because to be honest, if I want to wear a fucking suit, I'm just going to wear the fucking suit out to dinner. Yeah. I've gone to Eddie V's in this exact outfit, like an AAR shirt, pair of fucking jorts, tennis shoes, and walked in. I'm like, I'm here to eat my $250 dinner. My money's green as it is if I wear the fucking suit. It's all a feeling. And I tell you, that's like it's such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
It is. I never thought I'd fucking say that because I fucking talk shit on suits half my life. Mm-hmm. Right now, he'd probably be able to sell me a sport jacket to go with my jorts right now. I'd probably be like, it's great. You should see yourself in this. It looks great.
I do a lot of suits for Pat McAfee, and he always wears jorts.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so.
Well, Pat McAfee's a fucking yinzer, so we're thinking on the same level right there. Does he legitimately doesn't he?
We're doing, he'll only wear shorts. So I'm doing his wedding, which is in Hawaii in August. So we have to go to Indianapolis this week. And he wants all black, but he wants shorts and a black shirt, black vest for his wedding.
Wearing fucking shorts.
It's awesome.
I can't believe I just said that, and that's exactly
even
what that contract is doing. That's awesome.
WWE and then ESPN, whenever he was talking with them, I believe we chatted about this before. He was saying like his wardrobe is super important, and if they have a problem against what he's wearing, he's not interested in doing it. So he even broadcasts WrestleMania, does some stuff for WWE wearing shorts. That's his like go-to look. So we can make it work.
But it's not a bad thing though. I think that it's just everybody talks about expressing yourself and just expressing yourself and showing who you actually are. Why the fuck would it? I mean, that's who you are. That's why people follow you, especially with social media now. Everybody knows I'm a fucking dad. I love being a dad. I'm not going to change it. Like I just do dad shit. It's inevitable.
Well, I think the big thing is the culture's changing so much, and I think our generation is really the first generation that's shifting the societal norms from when it was in the past, right?
Sure.
Even like with getting tattoos and stuff. I purposely, I like them, but I did this. It's all about my journey in fashion, and they're all pieces of art based off of that. And then on the other end, it's also a marketing piece that, hey, this suit designer who's tatted up is so untraditionally what a suit person looks like. So it's just perception.
It almost makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or makes people feel comfortable about doing something different that they felt
Correct.
connected to in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cool thing about life. And I mean, right. And like you said, right now with society, change is going to occur, and we just need to make sure it happens in the best sense possible. I just got to ask it. I've never met Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Never met him. He's huge. I love all of his shit. Absolute riot. My dad did his dad's kitchen, and his dad.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, fuck yeah. He told me stories about my dad was there's a crazy story about Pat in high school, and Pat was a handful in high school, and I won't say it because it's revealing about his his intimate times in high school,
Sure.
but his dad was just like, this fucking kid's a handful. At the end of the day, my dad's like, man, because they're both, my dad and his dad are roughly the same age.
Yeah.
And they were just reminiscing about fucking having sons and the fucking crazy dumb shit they do and living their childhoods. And he's like, fucking Pat's a handful.
Yeah.
And his dad's not light either. And my dad is a ride as well. So they got along drinking, planning their kitchen, shit like that. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to tell Pat to try to get on here at some point
I'd love
too.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking dude's busy as can be, but
Yeah.
I'd love to just, for sure. Just to shoot
He's
the shit.
Man, he's such a. Again, it goes back to meeting people along the way, and how many amazing people there are that come from such different backgrounds. And even when I first met him, that was in 2018 at 2019 at WrestleMania, so it was only a year ago. And we built a pretty good relationship, but just the pure Pittsburgh that's in him and how genuine and real he is, it's so cool to see.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Dude, I feel like he hasn't changed. And I see other people talk about being a Yinzer, like on like a national level. And I'm like, bro, if you want to see a fucking Yinzer, just talk to Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I was like, go see his family. Like that's as Pittsburgh as
For
it
sure.
gets. And it's, I get a kick out of it. So he doesn't seem like he's changed as a person with the fame that he's had.
No.
If anything, I will say the only thing I noticed he did that I haven't done, once he started doing the ESPN and all the big stuff, he definitely cut back on the swearing. Because in the beginning, he was having at it like I do.
Yeah.
And then once I saw him starting to push for ESPN gigs, I'm like, bro, he's going to go big time.
Yeah.
Like, he's on TV, like mainstream shit. I'm like, he's got to clean it up. And then he started cleaning it up, and I'm like, it's something that I would have a really hard time doing.
Yeah.
But that's the only difference I noticed.
So I was trying to think about that the other day, actually, and I think that's the appeal. I know he wants to get from what I've seen on social media, he wants to get the Monday Night job, obviously. Why wouldn't you? You know?
Oh, man, I'd be so pumped.
I think he's the type of person that is, I really think in the next 3 to 5 years, he's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, journalists, broadcasters in the sports arena for sure, because he's just real, right? He's the you of the sports world from a football standpoint and whatnot.
Bro.
And
I never looked at it like that.
yeah, I think because I want authenticity, I want realness. I don't care about the PC stuff anymore. I want somebody to have fun with. I don't want a stuffy broadcaster. I want someone that's just real that I can relate to. And I think the younger generation is that's how they're being raised now. So I think my personal assumption is he's going to end up getting some big gig on ESPN in the near future. Every time I see him make a post, he says 10 years away before ESPN actually changes the way they do things. I think it's going to be sooner. I think that's what the draw is to this podcast. Is it's just the realness of life, right? There's no more sugarcoating stuff.
Well, and you can't. And on a podcast, everybody has the ability, and you're going to say on a podcast, you're super open. You're open to criticism from everyone and anything that you say. You're open to criticism. You're just talking, being candid because you want the realness.
Right.
And some people might take something and be like, "Oh, you're a fucking piece of shit," or they might be like, "Man, that moved me." And that's part of this process, and you got to be okay with everything. Take everything for what it is. But when you go big like that, like right now, Monday Night Football sucks.
That's terrible.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It hasn't been good in quite some time, and I would say that he would bring some flavor. There would be a whole lot of flavor because it would be his delivery.
Right.
His accent, his delivery, the Pittsburghese in him, and just him being himself.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that he would be, when you think about it, the people that they're talking about putting on there or anything like it, they don't really have flavor.
No,
they don't really. And if you want ratings, if you want people to tune in, you got to have some flavor to it. You have to. And right now, anybody that's on ESPN a lot already, I don't want any of those people.
Right. Well, especially there's so many options nowadays too, right? Hey, I'll just watch highlights after. I'll watch this. I'll put it on mute, do this. And I think the podcasts have allowed talented people who have not gotten opportunities to, through networking or whatever, to have a platform and to have a voice and to build their own audience, right? And that's the cool thing about it is it's an equal playing field for a lot of people nowadays. And as technology continues to progress and as business and being an entrepreneur, quote, becomes cool, because it wasn't before, right?
No.
So I think there's so many changes in society happening that are progressive with that.
It's wild. It is wild how things are changing because you went, like you said, you would rather do what you're doing right now than go back and make $250,000 a year as a sales guy.
Yeah. For the rest of my life, I would not go back financially to make, if I was making more money doing that versus now, for the rest of my life, because I love what I do that much more, and I love helping people that much more along the way. It's that simple, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. It blows my mind to think about, because the pipe dreams, like even like you were going to that, when you were going down to WrestleMania and you were thinking this is going to happen and I got to make this, the play out in your head. I think a lot of people have these things occur, and even the play out that he and I have, and even about the business deals we're working on right now and everything, like I play them out in my head over and over, almost like a child.
Yeah.
And you're a grown man and everybody respects you or they think highly of you. Meanwhile, you're just still you in your world. And I think a lot of people out there that think about, like, even the tie, like people are like, oh, I had an idea like that once. The problem is everybody has these ideas, but you got to execute. You have to do the work, and but you also have to have these ideas and sit there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours by yourself, going over and over and over how you're going to play this out or what are the opportunities to happen from this, and then go live it. If you don't do that, if you just sit there and play these things out, you'll continue to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
And you're going to fail. Like, you fucked up a bunch. You got fired 3 times. I got fired like 3 times, 4 times, maybe 5. I quit jobs. And it was all things that I was already good at. I just wanted to live my life. And that's a scary thing for people to do. But I agree, that's that jungle analogy.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And that jungle's scary as a motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, man, you know, I look at it whenever people talk about what do you want to do with your life. And when you're a kid, what does everybody tell you? You can do anything you want to do. You can be the best at this. You can be an astronaut. You can be an athlete. You can be a movie star, whatever. And then as you progress in life, society slowly starts changing that narrative and says, why don't you think a little bit more realistic? And then they start squashing your dreams as you get older. So to me, it doesn't make sense that as the child, when your brain is developing and you're trying to put your imagination to use, that's the beauty of individuality, right? Is there's so many of us on earth and there's so many things that can be solved or been created or been fixed. And society, as you grow into an adult, it tells you don't do any of those things. And you know, I think that's the simplest way to look at it. And if you stay with that childhood mentality, like you just said, of you can do anything, you could figure things out, and
it's just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, for sure, sure.
And it's crazy to say, because to be safe in life, like I've said that a number of times. It's crazy how people tell you could do anything you want as a kid. Yep. You're like, yeah. I watch fucking superhero movies. Shane still is going to be a superhero. You know, he's sitting there with Captain America. We joke about it on this podcast. If you could be a superhero, who is it? That imagination part of your life is so important. That being a character or finding the good in who you want to become. Like, and the whole Joe Rogan thing, that piece that he says as well. Be the hero of your own movie. Like, you have to sit here and daydream. Right. You have to. If you don't, you're kind of going to get upset with life. And I think a lot of people are afraid to go after their dreams, or afraid to live something out, or afraid to work a little bit harder, because if you work harder, people are going to expect more from you all the time. And if they expect more from you all the time, that means they have to get even better than they were. Like, it's I believe that is tough, because our demo crew, we have this group, the demo crew, and that's our affiliate program with Axe and Sledge, and it's this group on Facebook as well. It's a private group in there, and in there, there's no negativity. But in there is there's thousands of people in there posting about the new houses that they buy.
That's awesome.
Posting about the new trucks that they buy, the new motorcycle, whatever they bought. And all they hear is people excited about them doing these things because they're leveling up in their life. And the second that you level up in life, you're expected to do more from your own standpoint, from your family standpoint, from everyone's like, bought a new house, huh? That's great. Now you got to pay for the bitch. That's the last dad thing everybody says. Oh, I bought the house. Now you got to pay for it. But all these people are leveling up, and it's awesome to see because what we're doing and laying this foundation and telling people to go do these. And if I see somebody buy a new house, fuck yeah, I'm pumped.
Yep.
I want to go see it. Can we drink in your house?
Yep.
Where'd you fuck the old lady already, huh? Did you get it done? Same thing with the truck. You want to see these exciting things in life, but it's super terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's why that's what I believe is so awesome about the internet, because people are able to attach themselves to what Bob and I do on this podcast. Me and Bob and even Shane and you, like even though we're successful in life, we still search for people to influence us online as well. Sometimes they're famous. Sometimes they're not famous at all. Like John from our warehouse, bro. John in our warehouse, his Instagram is one of the funniest fucking things in the world. We were talking about it.
Hysterical.
Fucking Monster John taking bubble baths. Like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? It's awesome. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And these are things that are important for everybody to do. And that's what's awesome about social media, to attach yourselves to people and watch their life and watch their business and listen to their stories, whether they're famous or not, and influence you to do better as well.
Yeah.
And along the way, like before this podcast started, fuck, dude, all the little shit, fucking people just bickering, fucking with you, telling you you're a piece of shit, mocking you. Oh, you sell suits. I can get this same thing at Men's Warehouse.
I hear it all the time.
Why should I fucking buy one from you? You're just trying to make money off of me. Like, motherfucker. God damn, no, I'm providing a service that is top notch. It's how I think it should be done. It's crazy. So it's like Facebook. There's a bunch of good shit, and then it's just every Karen under the sun. Yep. Like, God damn it.
It's crazy because I think when you start something out from the beginning, you know, I always put the horizontal bars next to each other, and when you start something out, you automatically drop to the bottom, right? And normal society is over here. And they're like, oh, hey, yeah, hey, you know, congratulations. I heard you started a business. Good luck with everything. And as you start climbing that, and as you get a little bit more equal with them, they look at it and the negativity starts to come out, which doesn't make sense. Then you start hearing people say things behind your back, and your friends start saying things, and, you know, people you thought were friends and all this other stuff. And then as you start climbing up and you get a little bit above them, and now you're surpassing them in, quote, a success theory, right? Then it's like, now they really want to see, I can't wait till he fails. Oh, that person's an asshole, or this person doesn't deserve it. Or
they change.
Or, they changed who they are. And then when they get to that top point and it's a big change, hey, remember me? We were friends in first grade, or we were best friends in high school. And can we get a picture together when we're out, right? And that's the crazy thing to me. And I get it. It's human nature to feel that way, essentially, whenever
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's tough.
For sure.
Because especially whenever you get around, some people at the top are dickheads.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There always are. There's always going to be some of those, but for the most part, there's not a lot. Like everybody that I think of, like what you were just explaining, like everybody has these stories, and it's kind of wild because Bob and I we started in a rough spot, and now we're doing these great things, and you hear these people that are uber successful, they have similar stories. And it's cool because they've been around since social media has been around to see it.
Right.
And it's, I don't know where people get those feelings from. Yeah, it's uncomfortable because I don't want to see people feel like that.
Right.
I don't know where the negativity came from.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that it just infects them and affects their life so much. And it's great. I refer back to Andy a lot. Another one that comes to mind is Rob and Dana. And how their success, Phil Heath, just because it's all fitness industry related. Right. But Phil Heath, man, whenever he was coming up, he was the fucking gift, most incredible bodybuilder, this and that. Then he became Mr. Olympia, and you get Mr. Olympia, you got a fucking target on your back, and now everybody fucking hates him. And I'm like, how's that happen? Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, he's a fucking prick. I'm like, are you the fucking best in the world at something? Are you the absolute best in the world at anything? Like, even if the dude is a dick. Bro, whenever I was bodybuilding, I was the biggest cocksucker in the world. Fucking nothing else mattered in life. Because it can't. You have to be selfish. And I'm like, man, it's just crazy how it all happens. And then watching, and I say this with Rob and Dana and how they flag nor fail and what they've done in the industry. They pioneered a way of doing business through this industry. And it's like, man, the way they set the tone and everything that they do, it's incredible. And they don't stop. No.
Yeah.
So whenever you look at all these crazy successful people and along the way, and some people will be like, oh, well, this one time Rob was a fucking asshole. I'm like, well, Rob is a dickhead. But you don't get to where he is in life by being, hey, guys, I hope I'll, being all polite and shit all the time. You like in this, you're in the fucking jungle. You can't just be like, pet the tiger in the jungle. No, motherfucker, it's going to bite your ass and eat you.
Yeah.
So, and same thing within me. Like how I run my life, my daily life, I'm excited about everything.
Well,
when it comes to business, fuck you.
Yep.
I want you to make money. If you're making money and we're making money, we're doing good. If this is a one-sided deal, fuck you. I don't like that shit. And that's how this all has to operate. So,
you made a statement before on one of your other podcasts that I loved, and it was talking about how nice of a person you are, but you can be mean times 100 on comparison to what that is, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I've that hit home for me because it's like I will give everything I possibly have to help other people be successful. I hope you post all the nice cars and the nice houses, and you've earned those things. And
fuck yeah.
I'm 1,000% behind that. But at the same token, along the way, if you are interfering with my business or the success or my name, I will fucking do everything I possibly can to crush you.
Absolutely.
And that was really, really cool when you said
and
that.
And that's why I talk about those people that I just mentioned, because that's why I relate to them, and that's why I watch them, because that's how they are.
Yeah.
You have to be. Because, there comes a point, we're to that point now within our businesses, where it's like we have to go hard. We have to. And whenever you go hard, it's like, yeah, like, I love what I do, just like everybody, just like they do. But like, bro, if push comes to shove, you got to shove back, and they set the tone. Rob definitely does. We've known Rob for
long time.
10 years, mm-hmm. And what he's done with the businesses, and how he spearheads things, and the level of intensity, it's there. Same with Andy. Like, I love talking about Andy and Sal, because talking to Sal, like, they got into like physical altercations.
Right.
They're brothers. They're large men. Like, they're nice. Like, fuck, dude, nice as can be. But then they're like, yeah, we get angry, we go at it. I'm like, good Lord. Those are the things that in life it's intense.
Right.
And you can't take it lightly. You can't pretend that these things don't exist, or even within this company that we have. Like, same thing, bro. We it has to go hard. We have to go hard at it. And if you don't, there's a chance it won't work, because everything's so big now that if it doesn't go the way it needs to go, mass chaos can ensue.
Right.
Don't want that. I will say this, fucking just, this is a wild industry. It is full of I don't even know how to explain it. Just everything that you see and how far and how hard everybody goes is pretty wild.
Right.
It is the jungle. It legitimately is. And now that we're in the position with our businesses, and we know what we put on the line, and knowing what other people put on the line, like First Form built a fucking massive facility. I think today's their first day I saw.
Oh, yeah.
They just opened that one up?
Yeah, they just opened it up. Like,
it's massive.
Looking at what they're doing is intense. Mm-hmm. Like, what they're doing, I'm like, fuck yeah, going hard. Because that means that the level of intensity that they have and the passion that they have, bro, it makes me feel some shit.
Yeah.
Same thing whenever, like, Jason Hunt, like Steel Supplements. Fucking Jason's one of the people that told me to come back to the industry. Like, how hard everybody goes. And when you're in an industry where everybody's going hard, you better step your shit up.
Yeah.
You better have it together. And that's why I think about it every morning.
Yeah.
I think about it every day, and I know they do too. I know everybody does. You can't not.
My business partner for my marketing company, Derek Sioka, he worked at Ronnie Coleman's place.
Oh yeah,
and he just left there to do the marketing full time.
Oh,
so
nice.
we landed a couple big clients to get us going on that. But for the last, played football together in college. He competed a couple times. But the stories that I've heard from his side of things and the things that happen in that industry, it's pretty crazy. It's very intense and cutthroat, obviously, and
Oh, fuck yeah.
but it's cool. It's an athlete mindset industry to be in.
You have to be passionate about
Yeah.
it, just like anything in life, and you can't slip.
It's wild how intense and cutthroat an industry can be when it's like health and fitness and feeling better, and it's intense on the back end.
Yeah, but at the same time, I refer back to the Feroces. Sal told me whenever we were in 2018, we were at the Natural Body event, and he was like, yeah, dude, you're more than welcome to come out anytime you want. They're very inviting. They're like, fuck yeah, come out. And then he's like, I'm like, anything. He's like, bro, any question that you have about anything, I'll tell you the 100% fucking truth. Look at me dead in the eye. And I'm like, bro, that's a big deal. He says, I'll tell you everything you need to know. I'll tell you everything we do. He's like, but you still have to do the work. Yep. And I'm like, there's that shit. That's that shit that just fucking lights people on fire. I loved it. And that shows not only confidence, but also, bro, I want to help you. I want to see you succeed. Whenever someone says that, they want to see you succeed. I want to see people succeed in life. Like all the people in the demo crew, I want to see them succeed. I don't give a fuck if you're scrubbing toilets. If you're 21 years old, a fucking plumber scrubbing toilets, I want to see you become maintenance manager. Maintenance manager making over $100,000 a year. I want to see you doing well for you and your family. I don't want to see anything bad.
Right.
And along the lines, you're going to piss people off. You're going to hurt some feelings. And if they get their feelings hurt from that, then maybe you two shouldn't be friends. Maybe you two shouldn't be acquaintances. And that's perfectly fine because they're going to go off and live a great life, and so will you.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I probably in the last 2 years finally grasped concept of the fact that I do not care what anybody thinks of me. I genuinely don't, because I do things the right way. I treat people well. I want to see people succeed. If you don't like me, you just don't know who I am. We've never had a conversation, or you just for some reason have a misconception of who I am, and I'm okay with that as well, because I just, again, don't care. And it may sound rude or harsh to people, but I know where I'm taking my life and where I'm taking my business and the direction that I want to go. And if you want to come along for the ride, please, let's do it together. And if not, get the fuck out of the way, because we're going.
You have to. Yeah. You can't stop. Can't stop. No. I just got to know, what's John Cena like? Is he? I mean, can you see him? Number one.
I've seen him. Yep, I've seen him. Everybody says that.
So great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So is he as big of a goofball as I think he is? Like he seems, because I'm just a fucking jerk off.
Right.
I mean, I take all my stuff seriously, like we just talked about. But I seem like he would be like a jovial, enjoyable guy to be around.
Yeah, he is as real as you would think he is. He's got a couple different houses throughout the country. I've been fortunate to visit all those. He's purchased about 285 suits off me in 3 years. So I've obviously spent a lot of time with him. We've done all of his movie premieres, and I think 2018 is when he exclusively jumped ship to wear only my stuff, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
So we've built a pretty good rapport, pretty good friendship and everything. And he's the most genuine, real, humble, hardworking individual I've ever met. Backstage, he jokes around just like this stuff. He's a big brother to a lot of people, and I think people respect him obviously so much from what he's accomplished in his life. Man, I don't have anything slightly bad to say about the guy. He's such an incredible human being. And we just talked last week. I was kind of keeping him updated on things. Obviously all the movies had shut down from COVID, and we were chatting about, we started our mask business back on April 4th of this year. And I was just kind of updating him on some of the success that we've had with that. We're paying off 5 or 6 families' debt for the rest of 2020, based off of some of the funds that we've taken there. So we're going to get ready to do a social media campaign on that.
No shit.
So I was kind of keeping him posted, and within 5 minutes gets back to me and just sends this awesome email to me. And he's just such a good human being.
Awesome to hear.
Yeah, he sometimes you hear things about, some athletes, celebrities, movie stars, whatever, and they're bad at this or they treat people this way. But John he's been awesome.
It's a tough thing, especially when you get to that level.
Right.
That one bad thing. I mean, you could have one event where you just walk by somebody and you were supposed to meet him or something like that. It's got to be intense, but I'm curious because I'm a fan of him. You have to.
Yeah.
Be. It's
so he's
the meathead that he was bodybuilder. He becomes a big time, one of the biggest fucking celebrities in wrestling history.
Yep.
Like The Rock, John Cena. Like that's kind of how it goes at this point, especially at least in this modern era.
Right.
But you hope that you hear good things about him because he seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
So I had to ask.
We talked for 3 years on potentially doing business together where he was going to get involved in the ownership of my clothing brand.
Oh, yeah?
And it didn't work out. And he sent me this message and when he actually backed away at the end and just said, look how far you've come in this short amount of time without me. He goes, don't get me involved in this. He goes, keep doing what you're doing and keep growing it the right way. And to have somebody that saw what's going on, I gave him all of our numbers and we, showed him everything under the hood of the business, and to show him that and to have him still turn that down. Obviously he doesn't need anything, but
sure.
He's the type that I think is always looking to be fulfilled with accomplishments, as most of us are. So to have him say those things and, I have something that I keep in my email called, it's a smile file. So it's just anything when I'm like dealing with shit, I just want to kind of look through it and get a couple bullet points of like, all right, keep doing this, keep pushing. And I get a bunch of text screenshotted or emails from him and just the support that he's given it's been incredible. And to allow us to use his name and everything and all we do and talk about and branding.
And just still after that, even just still working together as much.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, it's been he's in the new Fast and the Furious movie, so we were designing clothing for the set of that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there's another movie that's coming out, something with a park ranger, and he's just an awesome guy and has gone out of his way to help me. So it's
awesome.
It's been so cool, man.
Fuck yeah.
Greatest guy I know. He's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
John Cena.
It makes me feel good. So whenever I see the memes, it's like, it's just, I don't know. Because it's like, so popular.
A Jeep driving itself.
Yeah, dude.
They are incredible.
So how can everybody listening is at this point where they're like, because we have fucking meatheads, we got people that are tall, lanky, misshapen, chubby, skinny. What you have it, that's who listens to this podcast. How can they get in touch with you to be able to get a custom shirt so they can get sweet blowies in their truck with their lady, or get a suit for Christmas or some type of event or their wedding? How can they get in touch with you to be able to do that in their city if it's possible?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the expansiveness of your business, because I know if you're here in this area, the tri-state area, you can call Alvin.
Yeah, I mean, Alvin drives to New Jersey, D.C., New York. He's Ohio. He's all over the place.
Fuck yeah.
We do virtual fittings as well.
Oh, really?
So we can do fittings for anybody all over the country. We are expanding this fall, actually, so we're trying to start really bringing in a solid team. Every quarter we want to bring 1 to 2 stylists on throughout the country. So we're going to start migrating northeast of the country, D.C., New York, really start in a geographical location and expand. But just for anybody else that's out there, davidallenclothing.com, and you could pop up, talk with one of our stylists on our website. You can book a fitting there, and we could do everything virtual there. So yeah, I mean, we're trying. We have a couple of things we're working on technology wise to help out with those things. We just don't want to ever rely on technology only, like a lot of our competitors are doing. We want to keep that real experience of having somebody to help.
Alvin.
Correct. Yeah.
Finding another Alvin is very difficult, probably.
Yeah. So, and that's our goal. It is. It's very tough. And Alvin's been incredible. He's been, since I started the business, he's been with me on my right side and just kicking ass. And so he's kind of leading the virtual fitting and that portion of our business as we try to tackle that. And I think with COVID happening, we now have to look at doing business a little bit differently as well. So we have some stuff that we're just working on developing from that standpoint. But yeah, we could work with anybody throughout the country.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There you hear it. I'm telling you, the shirts, stretchy material for fucking being a little thick in the off season, slimming down. Yeah. You can't beat it. I like I said, fucking trying to wear whenever you get invited somewhere nice and you're a meathead, it sucks. Because then you're like, fuck, now I got to look presentable. I can't even wear fucking jeans, and now I got to swim in this fucking shirt, which fits my shoulders and arms nice. But then you look down, and you're like, this looks horrible. Looks horrible. So it's been, I love it. So yeah, everybody, there you go. Go to davidallen.com.
DavidAllenClothing.com.
Okay, we'll put that. Shane will put that somewhere important, right,
Yep.
Shane?
Yep.
Good
Thank
job.
you, Shane.
Thanks,
Yep,
Shane.
no problem.
You're doing a good job over there today.
Thanks.
Look great.
Thanks.
Thanks for looking nice today for him.
No problem. AAR shorts.
Yep. Top
Man,
notch.
Yep.
Killing it. Paired the red.
Yeah.
Good job.
Got it.
He's learning well.
If you haven't noticed, we fuck with this kid nonstop.
I've heard on every single episode so far.
Oh man, no, I'm in. I mean, that's we talked to Alvin because I had to take a step back, and now I'm a different size. It's kind of disturbing.
Sure.
I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it. Bob's having a great time.
I don't know if mine are
But-
salvageable. Like, I don't know. They're
I don't
so
think they
big.
are.
Probably not. You've dropped a significant
Bro,
amount. Yeah.
it's like my jacket's like a robe. Like, I can wrap it. I need a belt. It's so bad.
Did you see the picture that Hannah sent to Kim
Oh my!
from two Christmases
Two
ago?
Christmases ago, it was.
Was that the one you posted?
No, this
was a different one.
Yeah, this was like the other night. Hannah sent it over to my wife, and it was we were baking cookies at his house over
For Christmas.
and I was probably 250 pounds.
Oh yeah, you were 255.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now being
beard out to here,
under
just-
200 pounds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, I
Good
know.
for you,
and
man.
It was tough to see.
So now it's we've been excited. We talk about it at least once or twice a week for Alvin coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and I love busting Alvin's balls because every time he comes in, like we're excitable people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, I love hearing cool shit. And like whenever he comes in talking about suits, I'll say it every time. I'll never forget whenever I bought the suit for Vegas. We bought it, I think it was in August, end of August, getting ready to go to Vegas in September. And I could wear white shoes with this motherfucker and it would look sick. Would look great with the suit. And he's like, yeah, just go get white shoes. And I'm like, Alvin, I can't wear white fucking shoes. Look at me. And he's like, I know where you can get them. And I'm like, you're like dead set. And he's like, you got to get white fucking shoes. You're going to Vegas. You're going to look great. And I'm just like, this fucking guy's killing me. So he convinced me to go
I was
look
gonna
for
ask
white
if you
fucking
did it.
shoes. And I went on a hunt for them and they weren't anywhere because it wasn't the time of year for
Yeah.
those shoes apparently. But just how he makes the whole experience so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I think he's lying to me sometimes, but it's like well, white lies. They're good lies. They're like, don't worry about it. It's doing great. Or he's telling, it's going to be great. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Alvin loves his white shoes more than anything, for sure. He wears those a lot.
Bro, he convinced me to wear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a riot. but I'll say that hell of a salesman, but that's why I said it's hard. It's hard to find people like him because he genuinely loves what he does and he genuinely wants you to feel special.
Yeah.
Like having that, and the dude does not ever come in here in a bad mood.
Right.
Like never. So that alone right there just makes you feel very excited about everything and makes me feel good about spending money.
Yeah. I just put him
tough
in.
to do.
I put him in charge of the clothing company last week. So he's going to be running everything moving forward.
Oh, shit.
Just because it allows me to step out. There's a bunch of other projects that I'm trying to do, and he's earned it. You know, he's
Absolutely.
busted his ass for years, and he's been with me through some of the most challenging times, and he's earned it every single year and continues to
Man.
carry the name well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
Can't wait to see him and
Yeah.
give him a hug.
And
Fucking
some money. I need all new shit, dude. It's bothering the fuck out of
yeah.
me.
Now that you know it doesn't fit.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to have the look. Like I wanted like flat belly, tucking the shirt in, and I'm like I can't because the shirt's so big now. And
I love tucking a shirt in.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dad moves. Fuck yeah. Tuck your shirt in your jorts. Yeah.
yeah,
And your fucking vacation shirt. You know, like the yeah. Fuck.
oh my god.
Wow. Man, that's quite the journey. I had no idea how everything went. The ups, the downs, the intensity, and what you did previously.
Yeah, it's
Like
been
making that kind of money. Making that kind of money and transitioning out of it's tough.
It was the hardest, I think going the other way would be far easier. Not having much to try to build that obviously. And, man, it was ugly. It was
Oh yeah, that number there on your arms is more than just a number. It's
Right.
a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a very intense feeling, and when you look at it, you're just. I do the same thing. There's a few moments in my life that I look back on. I'm like, I'll never forget that fucking shit.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And it's crazy how it relates back to groceries,
Yeah.
like to eat. For me, it's having a full pantry. When I have a full pantry in my house, I'm like, man.
I remember you said that a couple of times on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, spending all your money on not having to worry about the money you spend at the grocery store is a very big feeling for me.
Yeah.
It's like a dad thing, I guess. But like not being able to buy food or having to buy food, like Bob has said, on a credit card, fuck that shit, dude. That's tough. That's intense feelings.
Yeah, I think for 6 months I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and green apples, and that was the extent of my diet for a long time because it was inexpensive.
It's something for everybody to hear because you didn't say apples, you said green apples. Like, it's just the details, the little things you'll remember, the certain brands that you bought, why you bought them, and no matter how successful I ever become, I will never not take pride in looking at a full pantry.
Right. Yeah.
For fucking sure.
That's like that whole, like back when you were talking about that line in between getting in and out of the jungle.
Yeah.
Like that's like that. It's the buy-in to the jungle that no one can quite understand, I don't think. Because like you stepped away from a whole field that you worked 3 to 4 years to establish yourself, have a really nice salary, you established a lifestyle that you really enjoyed spending money on and doing those things. But no one understands that, like, yeah, you went into the jungle to follow your dream, but the buy-in just to get into the fucking jungle, just to get started in the jungle, is such a big leap.
It's the first steps, like
whether that's financially, whether that's your time, whether that's the sacrifices with your family, your friends, the just to get in, and then once you're in, you're like, fuck, here I paid that, I'm in. Now I got to live without that I just sacrificed for.
Well, it's like Shark Tank. Mark Cuban's notorious for it on Shark Tank. He's like, oh, so you still work another job.
Right, yeah.
And then he said April 1st of 2016. I'm like, oh, that's when you quit. He's like, no, that's when I got fired.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that right there was like, I don't have a choice now. Step.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep.
Because you knew that you don't want to go get another sales job.
Right.
You're like, fuck it, I'm going in. And that right there, and the first step into it and getting used to is all the chirping. All the fucking people just saying nasty shit about you, da-da-da, whether they're close to you, and those are all the little bites. Those are all the fucking mosquitoes. Those are all the little things. And then as you get further and further in there, you're like, fuck these mosquitoes, dude. I got fucking bigger shit to worry about. I can't even worry about them. So it's intense. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always wondered how someone gets into doing custom suits.
Yeah.
In that industry.
Well, we know how difficult it is to manufacture something in the U.S., in China, and no matter where the fuck you are. How the process of finding a good manufacturer, making sure they're holding up their standards, making sure they're holding that standard from PO 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 years later, nothing's changed. It's what we do. It's uncomfortable.
It's why we're all the custom stuff we're working on. It's intense. Yep. It's very difficult to do, and anybody that does it, I have a profound respect for them.
Yep,
yeah,
me too.
We did. Whenever I started, it was crazy because I would, especially when I was in medical, it was you had the 9 to 5, and then China doesn't start until 9 p.m. at night, our time, right? So I had my day shift and then my night shift. So whenever I lost my money and drained my 401s and everything, I said 5 years was my time frame that I am going to either do this for 5 years. At that 5-year mark, I'm either going to be very successful or I'm going back into medical and I'm going to figure something else out. And I said, in that 5-year time frame, I'm going to do everything I possibly can from a work ethic to be successful. I stopped going to bachelor parties. I stopped drink. I've had one drink in the last 2 years, 2.5 years or so. I used to drink every weekend, twice a weekend. And that started out because I couldn't afford it and I couldn't afford to be hungover either. It was 7 days a week from that standpoint. And it tests and challenges everything about the mental well-being. And I think when you learn to master the mental, working's easy. To me, working is not that difficult. You go and do something.
Everybody got to do it.
Right. But the mental battle of, hey, it's a Friday night and I'm going to sit and sew on my sewing machine for 7 hours and then get up and sell suits, and then Sunday do the same thing, and then Monday go sell medical equipment. And that's the part that really pulls out the character if you're going to make it or not. And, I lost a lot of friends in the last 5 years because I just stopped contacting them. Every time they'd ask me to go out, I'd say, hey, I can't. And it was the price that I had to pay.
And that right there, that shit's the hard shit, because that's when people say you change.
Yep.
And it's like, I've same thing with my friends. There's a few friends that I have that I'll always have. Miss a beat with them for 6 months, miss a beat with them for 5 years, still pick right back up.
Right.
Because everybody's hustling, everybody's working, and those are the people that, I hold tightly to. But no, that's tough to do as well. Whenever you hear them and they're just, because you got to sacrifice time. You got to sacrifice to make it. And I was going to ask a question. I had it written down in my notes, and in my head it just popped in, like, I don't really need to ask it, but I'll just ask it because I think every entrepreneur should have a blanket statement in some way, shape, or form. But if you were giving someone advice that wanted to get into some industry of what they do, we just talked about it, but how, because I hear it all the time. I get questions, what should I do about this? What advice do you give the people that say, I want to do this but don't know if I should or not?
Yeah, so how I believe in any business that you get into, I truly think there's a way you can dip your toe in the water enough to see what type of potential is on the other side, and to see if it's actually something that can be tangibly turned into a product, a business, or whatever. So I think it just always starts by trying to do the homework up front, the due diligence, to make sure, hey, what's the opportunity to do this? How can I actually do this? And really understand, is it possible? And even if it's the fraction of possibility to do it, if you trust yourself enough to do it, you can get there, and you will get there. That just becomes a, how bad do you really want it, versus can this actually happen, right? There are certain things that I just know that I'll never be able to do, things that just aren't in my wheelhouse, and that's fine. But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I mean, look at everything around you as you go throughout your day. Everything has been created or made by somebody, right? Everything you watch, created, made by somebody. What you drink, same thing. What you eat. So as I've learned my businesses, I've realized there's other things that I want to do to create more wealth, and just basically spread out the success as much as I possibly can. And just hustle. And if you're the human mind is so strong, I don't think people understand how powerful it really is. And the fact that when you realize that words, fear, things of that nature really don't control you, and you actually control them and really dictate your own outcome in your own life. I mean, think about people that, hey, I had an obstacle with this, or I had an obstacle with that. I can name 1,000 people that had worse situations that made more out of those situations. My mom grew up in the projects in Homestead and Whitaker. My dad hitchhiked to Oklahoma to go to college to get away from his dad from some stuff that he was going through. And there's a lot that I still don't know about that, and they end up having successful lives. Again, in the world we live in with all the chaos, a lot of people, it's just easier to come up with an excuse on why not to start than it is to just start. And maybe just starting is the reason you go a different route, but by just starting allowed you to see what that different route could potentially be. So I'm just a big believer in just trying something. And I think Will Smith said something, if I could do anything I put my mind to. If I wanted to be president of the country, I could be a president of the country. And I believe those things. Like, I don't think there's a single thing that, other than, if my body would be a professional athlete or something, there's limitations.
Like Seth playing basketball.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I can't put my mind to that. Maybe.
Oh,
but you never know.
Muggsy Bogues was 5'6".
Yeah. Are we putting a basketball court in now, or?
I'm going to try. But I agree. I liked how you put that, dipping your toe in the water.
Yeah.
That side hustle.
Yeah.
And every single name that I mentioned today, the people that I watch and pay attention to, and they all, it was the side hustle. It's the hustle. It's just the shit. Like, I like hustling.
Yeah.
I enjoy anything that I think in my head. I somehow think it's a good idea. And then I present it to somebody like Bob or Mike or Pat, sometimes Shane, and I might get, it's a little far, Seth, because they know where I'm going with it, and they know that if they say yes to me, I'm going to be like, fuck yeah,
Let's do
we're
it.
doing it. It is made up in my mind in that second. And I think that the dip in the toe to see if they're capable of doing it. Even people that, a lot of guys in blue collar, if they should start their own business, start their own handyman service, start their own side hustle, start their own machine shop, all these things, they just kind of they just dip your toe in there. Maybe start taking some side jobs on. See what it's like. See what it's like to go a little harder. See what it's like to have to buy a fuckload of materials. Because if you do a big job, fuck yeah, you're going to have to spend a lot of money up front to do a job. And it's going to make you scared shitless. And it's going to stress you out. You're going to lose sleep at night. You might piss your old lady off quite a bit. And you're going to find out if you have that type of support system at home to be able to do these things. Those are all, that was a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's just, it's an easy way it's a calculated risk, right? You limit the amount of loss or risk that you can have by doing something. And then at that point, you have to make a decision that if you're going to do it, there's one way to do it. And that's 1,000%.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Everybody has that moment. I remember Bob telling me he's fucking freaking out about his job, pissed off his shit. I was like, quit that motherfucker. Because that day you were like, I think today's the day. And I'm like, yep, quit that motherfucker. Yep. Sure enough, yep, it was it.
I was pacing around the third floor. There's nothing on the third floor, just cinder blocks. I was pacing around.
That's so awesome.
I was like, I'm calling Seth. I was like, I just need to call him. Because
this
was weeks of me talking off that third floor room of like going down and flipping my old boss's desk over.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I was like, today's the day. I was like, it's it. And he heard it in my voice. I heard it in my own voice. And that was the day.
That's
that
so
was
awesome.
The fucking day.
Fuck it.
We have I think 5 people that all quit six-figure jobs to work with the clothing or with clothing and the marketing company. So it's cool. It's such a reward. I mean, and then to have the opportunity that nobody can tell you that you were given something, right? That you guys created this from nothing. That the confidence that you can walk around and be happy on a day-to-day basis because of that. Man, it's the best feeling.
And with what we do and having this podcast and a platform like we do and all the support and how many, that's why my blanket statement is I just want to see good shit. Yep. With all the bad shit going on in the world, sure, there's a lot of fucking nasty shit going on and there's a lot of things that need to change. Any way you look at this shit, the extremes are so extreme that you're just like, oh, whoa. The extremes are a little fucking much. Why is this not here? Why can't we come here? What is inhibiting us from coming together here? And that's why I just want to see people succeed. I want to see people do good. I genuinely, you could excite me about fucking anything. If you're succeeding in life, if you're a fucking plumber that's on your hands and knees and shit every day, I'd probably get excited if you told me you started your own business and it's going well and you got fucking 15 employees now and all this. I don't know anything. I'm horrible at plumbing, but I would get really fucking excited because that's someone's passion. And that's what I have passion for is life. And this all started, this whole podcast started about you saying you want people to feel good. You put somebody in a fucking fresh suit, looking fresh, that changes your day. It truly does. It changes me. It changes how I look at what I'm about to accomplish in the suit, whether it be pounding the old lady or getting a compliment or taking a picture. If you had to wear a suit every day and you walk into if I had to sell somebody something and I had to wear suits, yeah, I'm coming in with a fucking suit where you're going to ask a question about the suit. It's going to be the talking point. Fucking right. And that's what, and I think that's true because that gets people excited. And if they ask a question about the suit, that means they're interested in your suit. That means they're interested in something other than what you're selling them. So now you build a relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I got to get watches. That's my next thing.
I'm a big watch guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting. I was going to end the podcast, but I got like 2 more questions. We talk about watches on here. I'm not a watch guy, but so you're a watch guy.
Yeah, this was my first treat. This was in 2017. It was only about $10,000 or so.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the entry into the starter Rolex
these
world.
cocksuckers have told me that that's the fucking entry point because I was like, oh, look, I could buy like a $2,000 watch.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not really that's not really beginner level. And I'm like, fuck you mean that's not beginner level. That is what it is, this $10,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 watches. And then they said, what, like OBJ had on this fucking $250,000 watch?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Playing
in a
football.
Richard Mille.
Yeah, that one. So what is that there?
It's Rolex Date Just 2. So this was like my first, I had my biggest W2 ever, and I also won some money on the Super Bowl. I used to gamble a ton.
Left that part out. He gambles on himself and on sports.
I'm an extreme individual, so anything I do is kind of all in. And
yeah,
Me.
yeah, I don't have a filter where it's I'm just gonna try this a little bit. But yeah, a lot of guys I worked with in medical, just all guys having $50,000, $100,000 watches,
shit.
and my age, and I was just like, all right.
Fuck it.
And it's an investment. You can get the money back anytime you need if you buy something nice.
That's what I've heard about them.
Yeah.
I didn't,
This was the first thing I ever purchased that I had a little bit of buyer's remorse for about 24 hours, and then I was like, all right, fuck that, I'm good. And it filled the void that I needed. And then it's a compliment to a suit, right? A timepiece and shoes and all those.
It's a relationship thing. If people never watch people, I mean that's
For
really
sure.
what this is, and because Rob and Porsches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andy and everything. Andy's like a version of you when it comes to cars.
He is.
He
He doesn't discriminate against car
Nope,
manufacturers.
he's
and
no
colors.
discrimination. Nope, he's in. And Rob with Porsches, but I just found out as well, Hublot. Rob wears Hublots.
Yes,
Those
he
watches.
does. Yep.
Those are sick
Yeah,
watches. That's what I was looking at, and then I saw some shit on his page, and I was like, no fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to
They're
get
sick.
one.
No, no. Yes. What?
He's the
I don't
most
know.
indecisive individual on the planet.
Horrible.
Yeah, like when Alvin lays out all the colorways.
Yeah, I'm busting
he's like,
Alvin's
"Oh,
balls.
shit."
I'm busting
Here
his
we
balls
go.
fucking with Alvin.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, whenever you try and sell me something, I'm like, oh, no.
I'll have to send a watch guy in here to pull out the watches in front of you, see if that hooks you.
Oh, bro, it'll be horrible. He'll be here for an hour and be
Do you
like,
have a guy? Do you have a
Yeah, I got a guy that I can
got
help.
a guy.
got a watch guy now?
Yeah.
We're really proud about the guys that we have. Like we're a guy for
Electricians,
everything.
cabinetry, woodwork. We got a guy for almost everything. Now we got a watch guy.
Yep.
Suit guy, watch
I
guy.
need a boat guy too.
Flat.
That's called a friend that has a boat. Yeah, that's what that's called.
Oh man, yeah. I appreciate it because it is whenever you get into the high end watch game, it's this company's perfection.
Right.
It's their most highly accredited ability of what their company is. And whenever you own companies or you do them, that's what you want people to think of your company. It is some of the best of what is achievable in that world. And when it comes to price points in it, it's like, yes, this is the upper echelon of what we can do at this price point. And that's something that's to be appreciated
Right.
in it. And that's with cars. I mean, I'm learning so much about fucking cars. Cars are cool as fuck.
Cars are awesome.
Yeah. Then watches, looking at this and like, yeah.
And
Just-
those are-
and the thing is too, like whenever you get into it, it's something that is very extravagant. It's not something that's like it's something that costs a lot of money, but it is something that if you feel passionate about or you get interest or it makes you feel a certain way, fuck yeah, do it, dude. You have to, because if it pushes you to do bigger and better things and level the fuck up, that's what it's all about.
That's what I always tell people too. A lot of people give you shit for having nice things, and but you get into a car. How often are you in your car? All the time, right? When I get into a car, when I go into my house, when I put my suit on, when I put my watch on, I want to feel a certain way because it's not a look at me. It's the reason I'm able to do these is because of the story that got me to this point. And to your point exactly, that's the value of it, is making you want to work harder than you did before.
Yep. I didn't understand that before I started meeting people or watching people that are into it. That whenever you meet somebody or see something that's into it like that, like it's a feeling. Like at the level that we're at, I can't feel flat. I can't come into work and feel flat. I need to feel alive. So I need to do things that make me feel alive. And that's where all these accessories into life, like I never understood why people get into cars and like they videotape. I was gonna say it. They videotape them starting their car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, once I got in one, I started up, and you go through. You're like, oh, I completely fucking get it now, because you can't feel flat after being in it, and at the level of you are in your life, you cannot feel flat. No fucking way. You have to go in alive, rearing, and ready to fucking go. Because the level of intensity that's about to happen in your day, you need to get ready for it. And if that's what you do for it, I get it now. I completely understand it. And it's just what they're into. And me, I know the one big thing for me is the house thing, like with my family. Like I don't feel flat. Like purchasing a new home, the home that I have, I want to wake up, look around and be like, this is the shit.
Yep.
Here it is. And I think that's a great thing for people leveling up. Like I just say about the demo crew, watching people in there do it, buy a new whiskey. There's people in there that are posting that they're like, I've never been able to do this. And they bought like a $150 bottle of whiskey. Like we're talking about a $10,000 watch. That's not relative to somebody that's making a $150 purchase. Yet it is, because if that's what they are afforded, if that's outside of their wheelhouse, making them feel alive. Yep. They're not flat at that moment. Right. They are alive. That is what's important, because that's the same thing. $300 at the grocery store, looking at my pantry full, I'm like, yeah. Even though that's not a lot of money to me now, it still makes me have a feeling. And those are the feelings that we need to search for in life. And I mean, I get my fucking juices really flow hearing those stories and looking at things and learning about people's perfection and what makes them tick to what they do. Because, bro, you're in front of huge celebrities. You're in front of big time people, and I asked you questions about them, and I'm curious about them, and I'm sure a bunch of listeners are, and they're just normal motherfuckers doing extravagant, incredible things just like everybody else in the world is capable of doing.
Just on a different platform. That's all it is.
It's crazy because everybody got a story. I got to get a car. You car guy?
Love cars, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I almost bought a G-Wagon.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah. I've had an X5 for a couple years now. I was between the G-Wagon and the Porsche Panamera. I'm waiting 12 more months.
Shaner's a Porsche guy.
Yeah, they're sick, man. But I'm waiting another 12 months. I was mentioning earlier, we're launching a yoga clothing line with JWoww from Jersey Shore. And
name drop that bitch. That's intense.
Yeah, so that's coming out this fall. And then spring of next year, we have some pretty lofty goals. So I'm going to set a couple benchmarks for me that if I hit that, I'm going to wait to treat myself.
So let me ask you this. That's a question then. So you're saying you're doing all this shit. Great. We have our things here as well. Those goals, like you said, like, the G-Wagon. So if you do succeed at those things, I'm really bad at this. That's why I'm asking. Do you hold yourself to go purchase that and spend the money that you just made?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, yeah.
You hold yourself to it. Yeah. Sometimes I just hold on to the money and don't do anything.
It depends, right? So I guess it depends on what you're doing in life as well. If there's like, for instance, the reason I did not do the car purchase now is because of the yoga line came up, and I'd rather
spending money. Yeah.
So for me, it's like I can create generational wealth potentially by saving this money and waiting 12 more months to do something and investing it in that. But if that hits it big and we do something where I want to be and there's some benchmarks, then yeah, if I don't have anything else going on, I'm going to spend that knowing I have money coming in eventually. But I tell my dad all the time, don't leave me $1. I don't want $1. You've earned it. He drives a nice car, but I want him to spend $200,000 on a car if he could. It bothers me a lot.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, man.
Fuck that shit.
Don't save anything.
I'm not leaving my kids a fucking penny.
No, there's no need.
Fuck them shits.
need.
I'll give them an opportunity.
Yep.
That's how one guy, Jim Melly, he big fucking plastering drywall company, does a ton of restoration shit. Bro has tons of property. Awesome guy. And one day he built this big fucking dream home of his, and I'm like, man, nice fucking house, dude. I was like, you spending your money, Jim? Busting his chops. And he's like, I ain't leaving my kids a fucking penny. And I'm like, Jim, that was a little intense. And he's like, no, you got it twisted. He's like, I'm not leaving him a penny, but I'm going to leave him opportunity.
Right.
I want to spend all my money because I earned it. Because, bro, he grew up in a rough spot too. Like, he had nothing growing up, dirt floor poor type of guy. And he has all this great stuff now. But his thing was, he's like, I'm going to leave my kids opportunity. I'm going to leave them all the properties. I'm going to leave them opportunity to make money and make something of themselves. He's like, I'm not leaving them with nothing. He's like, but I'm not leaving them any cash that they didn't earn themselves. And I'm like, that's a dad move, but that's also commendable in that sense. And I feel, ever since I heard that, I'm like, Dad, I don't want none of your money.
Yeah.
Bro,
I just
create
don't.
an opportunity. Make an opportunity for me. Give me something, and I'll take it and run. But I don't want money handed to me.
Well, and think about the position you're in, even before starting all this stuff, right? your dad did everything to get you to that point.
Yeah.
Right? You are who you are because of the way that you, whether you're not you, but anybody, positive or negative impact, that way you are is because of that person.
Yep.
And he was taking a picture of a Lincoln Navigator, the brand new ones, the other day. And I'm like, just buy the damn thing. It was beautiful. And he just comes from a different generation.
Yep.
And
It's my dad.
Yeah, I would hate for them not to be around and they don't need anything, but just spend it.
I'd probably do, if my dad left me a bunch of money, which he probably will, he might not. He's probably going to live forever. Devil don't want his ass neither.
Nope.
He'd probably tell him how to do his fucking job. He's like, listen, bud, you fucked this up again. But if he does leave me money, I'm going to give him a big fuck you by just buying something in one purchase with all of his money he gave me.
That's the way to
Well,
do
you
it.
didn't do it, so I'm going to do it. I'll never forget it, Dad. Thank you.
It's not a bad approach. I like that.
One fucking purchase. Every penny. Oh, man. No, it's good. It's that's cool. It's awesome. Well, I mean, fuck, dude. This was... I fucking feel great right now.
Yeah.
Really
Great
good time.
experience today.
Thank you for
guys.
coming in. This has been awesome.
Thank you for all the support. It's been. I really appreciate you guys doing.
You got us for everything, and I can't stress enough to anybody that's listening that if you are in this tri-state area, hooking up with Alvin, coming to a meeting spot with it, or anything, the virtual fittings, bro. It is awesome. The abilities, especially with all the meatheads and different shaped people that we have, you got to get into something.
Yep.
Even if it's just a shirt. Shirts are fire. Suit, you gotta do. I can't wait to see Alvin again. It's the summertime, so he's gonna have some bright color for an explanation.
sure.
He's like, oh, if you get a tan, if you do this, you can wear yellow.
Yep.
Fuck you, dude. I can't wear yellow. One day, I tell you what, my fictitious dream is that Hannah and I retire one day later in life, and we move to Florida or have a Florida home. And whenever I move to Florida, I'm going to be the person Alvin wants me to be. Yellow suits,
It'd be
pink
perfect
suits.
for you.
People will be like, he definitely sold cocaine.
Yeah.
Something cool like the salt and pepper look I'll have. They'll be like, yeah, look at him. He's with a younger chick. He definitely does this and all that. Meanwhile, no, it's just selling supplements and T-shirts. And he's some big dude in line. Yeah, definitely. I was a cover-up, Yeah. White shoes, yellow suits. But thank you again, everybody. Yeah. Make sure that you check out the bio on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, go on Instagram. And what is the handle on Instagram?
So my personal Instagram is David Allen Style, and Allen is ALAN. And then David Allen Clothing is also our Instagram handle.
Yeah. Go check him out. Send him a message. We'll put Alvin in there, too. If you're around the area, you got to hook up with him. Can't thank you enough, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it. And then I just have and you know this, we end every podcast with some fucked up questions. We let it out today, so might as well. Shane, let's have the fucked up questions. Bring a couple out.
Do you want to ask him the tennis question we had on Friday?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right, so we had a debate.
yeah.
We had a debate on Friday if tennis players had big or small dicks.
It came out somehow.
I don't know.
Where I was talking about
about
Roger
that.
Federer and Federer, and Shane said something about tennis players. No way, tennis players, because they got tiny dicks. And I was like, no fucking way. Them guys are like, they're Swedish, they're foreign.
They're foreign, yeah, they're huge.
Foreigners have huge dicks.
Yeah,
But
that's
then-
common knowledge, I think.
But then Bob says, no way, they have to tote that fucker around everywhere.
They could
they're
be
all over the place.
They could be growers and not showers, though. That's
I am.
there.
I'm real life grower, not a shower.
Man, it's just like, how are they fitting it in there? It's not falling out during the game. Like,
Well, I don't know, but the guy that you see at the combine, did anybody see the combine where the dude's dick
oh,
fell
yeah,
out?
it actually fell out.
Fucking
Yeah.
dude's dick fell out
Yeah.
of his
But he's
pants.
not a tennis player.
Tennis players are still fucking monsters. Oh, maybe that's like a huge analogy that I just don't know either. Tall people have big pee-pees. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We have Shane over here, goddamn tripod, a fucking gorilla. I don't even know what's going on. Sometimes I'm just thrown for a loop.
deceiving.
It is. It's not fucking fair either.
No, we're like the same height.
I'm sticking to it. I think it's true. They have to. Wonder if there's any tennis players listening. We push this and pay a bunch of money to fucking piss tennis players off.
Send Seth a direct message.
I'd like to see
they
a
are
huge
pulling they're pulling like good ass too. So like that gotta be
real.
That gotta be set up.
Maybe the girls are just desperate. They're just like the rackets.
I'm pretty good at paddle sports myself, Shane.
Fuck off. No, you're not, Bob.
I took an entire semester of paddle sports in college.
See, this is the dumb shit that's
Yes,
not
I
true.
did.
That's just ego-driven.
This is 100% true.
No,
First it's
not.
the Iron Man, and now it's the tennis player. And
Paddle sports, Ironmans.
Fucking riot.
I'm sure there's another thing.
Oh, man. We're going to piss a ton of people. People would be like, you fucking... Their tennis players are huge. They're hung. I don't fucking know.
All
It's
of a sudden,
fun, though.
We're going to have a lot of tennis players listen to the podcast.
I'm all for it. I'd love a new demographic of people.
My God.
Tennis shirts.
I'd
They
wear-
do. They definitely are fit differently, though.
Yeah.
And when do you ever see a fucking fat tennis player? Never.
Yeah.
Never seen one in my life. You see fat golfer every now and then.
Yeah.
Never a fat tennis player. Mm-mm. Let's go. Another one.
All right. What personal responsibility do you often neglect?
that's a good one.
Putting clothes in a laundry basket. I don't do that shit. Personal. What? Say that again.
What personal responsibility do you often neglect?
Yeah, just
Cleaning up after myself.
I'm a fucking pig.
I'm so bad with it.
Yeah.
Are you married?
No.
No,
No.
you're. So see, he has to do things for himself.
See, if you go up to my third floor now, the dryer, everything's pulled out, just laying on the floor, and then I have the washing machine right next to it. So it's just a constant cycle for that. So
I'm horrible at piggy piles.
yeah.
I leave shit all over my house and expect it to be cleaned up for me.
I don't put anything away.
Nothing.
Actually, not one thing really.
No.
Because I'll especially my daily things, like all my things I use every day,
Right.
I'll leave on the fucking dining room table as soon as I walk in the house, and Kim fucking can't stand it.
That's what I do. Piggy piles.
And she's like, "Why can't you just put it in the drawer?" I'm like, "Cause then I'm gonna use it tomorrow.
Right.
What are we doing overnight? No one's coming here tonight. I'm gonna put it in my pocket at 5 a.m. tomorrow." Yeah, but it would look really nice if it was away in the drawer.
It would look nice if it was in the drawer,
would.
though.
I would. I'm. It's my worst thing.
Nope.
Cleaning up after
Yep,
myself.
that's mine. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah.
I wear like 3 different things all day because I work out once or twice a day.
Yep.
So like sweaty clothes. Why would I put sweaty clothes in the hamper whenever they're just going to make all the clothes smell like my sweat?
Get moldy, all
So
that
they
shit.
sit next to it,
It's a good move.
but kind of look like shit.
That's what I do.
And sometimes more spread out than they should be.
I'll set things on top of the hamper, like it has a lid. And I'll put it on
Jesus
top.
Christ, you
And
go that far?
well, we put a fan. We put a fan on top, like to blow across the bed, and like I think it's an extra step, which it is, to remove the fan, open it up, and put it in. So I'll stack everything around the fan.
Crazy how efficient we are, yet lazy as fuck.
I know.
It is wild when you pick and choose, right?
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
crazy.
Or the things I'll go out of my way to do, like stupid shit,
Yeah,
like really stupid
for
shit.
useless, non-essential things.
And then I'll just not even open that.
I was hoping for a more fucked up question than that one.
Let's go, Shane.
Oh, man.
Let's go. Get something really dirty.
All right.
Actually,
Well,
there was
you
one
might
really
have to-
fucked up thing that I could ask. I saw on Instagram.
Oh, go ahead.
So this gentleman sent me a meme, and he said this would be perfect for your podcast because I like the
love
fucked
those.
up ones. However, again, it was fucking with me because it's borderline gay.
Okay.
Okay, but that's tough. So there are 2 chairs.
Gay
okay?
chicken.
Oh, this one.
Huh?
Gay chicken.
I don't know about this. There's 2 chairs. There's one chair. It has a birthday cake on it. Okay. The other chair has a big dildo on it. Beep beep. Up, dick. There. Cake on chair. You have to sit on one of them and eat the other one. Which one? What's your variation? How you going with it? Are you sitting on the dick and eating the cake, or sitting on the cake and eating the dick?
How big is the dick?
I don't know.
It's a big question.
If it's Shane, I don't know. I'm in trouble. It's gonna hurt either way.
I got the same meme, and I already have a good answer for it.
Oh man.
I love cake.
I don't know, man. I looked at this question and I didn't even fucking reply to the dude. I looked at it, opened it, didn't even fucking reply. I was like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to answer this. And here I am asking it. I was like, that's the first thing that popped in my head, the fucked up weird one. I was like, sick bastards. You got to sit on one and eat the other. And it's like, oh, do or death. Like, oh, you'll die if you don't, or something bad will happen. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
But
Which one do I do? I don't. Is the dick edible?
I mean, it's not a real dick, right?
It's not a real dick.
All right. Well, then I'm sitting on the cake.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm there. I'll eat that rubber dick all day. I'll chew on that bitch.
oh my god.
It just, I don't even know if I could put it in there. It just,
I
I'd be laughing, dying so bad.
But it
Everyone
didn't
watched.
say the dick had to penetrate you.
Oh, you get out of here with
Yeah,
that
get
shit.
outta
Now
here.
you just
It
that's
didn't.
Well,
semantics.
you just lay it over and sit on it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sure
Eat
that's
the
what
cake.
Alexis
That won't hurt
says all the
anything.
time. Yeah.
Soft dick.
Maybe if I laugh at it long enough, it'll go soft.
Oh my god.
That was a good one.
I know the dude. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. Opened it up. Nope. Yeah,
That wasn't that bad. There's some I can't even reread to anyone.
Yeah, the
like
whole-
I'll never reread them.
It's like I think they watch too much of the fucking, too much of like the family porn stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
That one, everybody's seen those. Like, oh, like you're in your mom and your dad's behind you, and you gotta fucking
yeah.
move one way or the other to get out. Like your dick goes in your mom or your dad's dick goes in your ass. You're like, fuck, dude. What are you watching? How'd that even pop into your motherfucking head?
How'd you type that down?
Yeah.
Get outta
Because you're
here.
making me think about it right
Yeah.
now. I'm like, fuck, that's rough to watch. You sick bastards. I mean, I do like it because that means people on job sites are fucked up. They're as fucked
Oh,
up as we
yeah.
are with it, but they go a little far.
Yeah. You got to pass the time somehow, I guess, with those conversations.
Oh, man, being on job sites like that, yeah. That's why people like this podcast, because it's great to listen to on a job site. Been there, loving life, fucking digging holes in the dirt, hot as fuck out, thinking of just fucked up shit. JG telling me about his wife giving him blowjobs. Intimate things, yeah. It's wild times. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, make sure you follow everything with David Allen Clothing. Go on onto the line. Get some shirts, get some suits. Feel special. It is incredible. Anything you can do, support, and hope you all learn something. Get inspired. Good shit. Anything to finish, Bob?
I think that's it.
That's
I
it.
feel good.
You? What about you, Shane?
I'm good.
Shane's good.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll leave him out of this one here. Again, everybody, thank you for everything. Follow along. Just make sure you're living life. If there's one thing that got away from this podcast, it was just fucking going after the things that you want in life. Everybody, have a good day. Fucking A. Enjoy it. Slap an ass or two.